I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? No Biden forever, bro.
It delivers an inconsistent result in individuals. So you could be deploying the MRNA as it was, I think it was 700 million Americans received it. And
data centers are actually under construction in Texas already, and we'll be turning them over to Sam to start training their next model. The data center we already built, it was the largest computer ever built. The data center we're building will surpass it and be the largest computer ever built, which enables this AI.
Severe winter weather impacting nearly the entire country. In Texas, Galveston's piers covered in snow. New Orleans' famous French Quarter, Bourbon Street, is seeing blizzard-like conditions today.
I don't think I've ever seen snow actually stick to the ground out in New Orleans.
Louisiana State Police responding to more than 50 crashes statewide due to the icy conditions, urging everyone to avoid travel as record snowfall has made roads dangerous.
Back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. It's Friday, which means we're going to bring you this week's headline news stories. And oh my gosh, have we got a show for you.
I got too many headlines.
You know what Leah told me?
The X's have never been so small.
The X's are very small, meaning she's got all these tabs open. You know what she tells me?
Got a lot of stories.
She comes to me today and she says, Michelle.
Just stop talking right now. Let's go.
And she says, you are not allowed to talk for the whole show. I have to get right through the stories. And she goes, they have to be boom, 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 boom. No commentary, no talking. Let the people decide what they think about it. There's no time for talking. There's just too much news. So get ready. I'll just mute my mic and we'll be done with it. And I'm just producer today. No, just kidding. So ice on the ground. Now breaking news, got a chance to go to Springfield and Yellow Springs this week. Dentist Sherry cleaned our teeth, ding. And she tells us that ICE is on the ground there in Springfield,
or at least it was
deporting the Haitians. Then you see that that's specifically happening in New Jersey. Yo, Biden, my boy for life, he says. Doesn't like Trump there.
Not a happy camper there with Trump. Yeah.
And not going back to Haiti, he says. His accent was really like American. Just like weird to me.
Yeah.
So Trump has pardoned the January 6ers.
Yes.
1,500 plus of them. Ivan Raiklin says that the DC gulag is actually not letting everybody go. Interesting to see how that develops. Also, the pro-lifers. So on the eve of the March for Life, which happened today in DC, Trump pardons the pro-life hostages. I'm calling them hostages.
Yeah,
I'm just going over the headlines. You guys saw it on the thumbnail there, but just in case for our podcast listeners. And then also Trump was in North Carolina today. Now, I am going to give this little bit of commentary. I think that he went to North Carolina today on purpose so that he didn't have to go to the March for Life. However, J.D. Vance was at the March for Life and gave a very moving family speech.
He did.
So at least send the pinch hitter in to the March for Life. I think Trump should have been there. I'm speaking out in faith that he'll be there next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Record snowfalls in the South.
In the South.
What is that?
Yeah.
Weather
modification,
manipulation.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm so used to not saying JFK. Literally this time we have to say JFK. JFK and MLK files released. I don't know.
You actually can say RFK because his dad, Bobby's.
Yeah, no, you can. Exactly. I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping it's more than just like everything that we already know. You know who we should have on? Uncle Barry.
Uncle Barry.
After he's had a chance to
check
peruse
it
them
out.
and look it over. We know personally one of the leading historians on the JFK assassination. He's been on our show multiple times.
Yeah.
Barry Jones, the author of The Treasonous Cabal. So hopefully we can get him back and we can unpack some of this stuff.
We want to unpack it.
I'm ready to mute my mic now. I'm ready. I'm just ready to let Leah go.
Are you ready?
Let her rip.
Our
Buckle
gladiators
up.
ready?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Okay. Do you have the tab? Do you have our tabs up?
I do.
Because let's go first to this article here from Breitbart. You're gonna have
so
a fun
tiny.
time finding it. I already shut down some that we don't need.
Okay. I'm looking at your fourth Breitbart and it's not the same as my fourth Breitbart.
Yeah, we want to.
Here we go. I got it. Okay.
Okay, so this is the video. I'm sure you've seen it. It's gone viral. This is a video showing the people ICE has been arresting.
Good morning, everyone.
It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Within moments, the officers are on the move, with eyes on their first target.
Looks like we got movement, target vehicle coming out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction. And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
So you guys got your main target just now, but you got somebody else. What just happened?
So our main target was released by a sanctuary jurisdiction, not honoring a detainer. That person was released back into the community, and when we went to go find him, he's with somebody else who was previously removed from the United States. So he's going to go today too.
And that is exactly what Border Czar Tom Homan has warned would happen.
When we find the bad guy, he's probably with others that are in the United States illegally. They may not be a criminal priority, but we're not walking away from them.
ICE Boston says they will continue to go into sanctuary jurisdictions and do their job.
Today was a good day. Today we took several significant public safety threats out of our communities. Unfortunately, a lot were released by sanctuary policies, but we're here to tell the Commonwealth and the rest of the country that we're going to find them whether they're released or not.
And guys, shortly after we finished filming, ICE Boston told us they arrested 2 more targets in other parts of town away from our cameras. One of those targets is a previously deported Honduran illegal alien who was arrested for raping a woman while putting a gun in her mouth. The other target they got is a Haitian man who first flew into the United States in 2023 as part of President Biden's controversial migrant flights mass parole program. Well, they just picked him up yesterday because he's been arrested locally for sexual assault. We'll send it back to you.
Bill Malhusian, it was fascinating to watch all of that. I think I was just saying to Bill, this is terrible for Joe Biden and the legacy that he tried to leave behind. A question from me, how soon will they actually be leaving the country? Does that take a long time?
It depends what country they're from. If they're from cooperable countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, countries like that, it can be quick. It can be within days or weeks. If it's countries that are harder to deport, countries that don't cooperate with the U.S. as much, it can go into a process of months. But the Trump administration is changing policies with something called expedited removal. The bottom line is people at home don't need to understand all the policies. The Trump administration is just going to work as fast as they can to get all the people you just saw on camera there out of the country as fast as possible. They're also going to use their State Department, now led by Marco Rubio, to put pressure on countries that don't cooperate with the U.S. as much when it comes to those deportations.
Bill, just two points of clarification here. It seems a lot of these crimes are associated with sex crimes. I'm just looking at the list a bit earlier today. I don't know if that generally is the case or not. And second, if Boston's a sanctuary city, how are they allowed to do this? Because we told there would be resistance.
Boston doesn't have to cooperate with ICE, but there's nothing they can do to stop ICE from coming into their city and enforcing the law. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And that's the point ICE makes to us is, look, they don't have to cooperate with our detainer requests. They don't have to tell our officers when they're releasing somebody from jail. But we're going to do our job. We have our intel guys out in the field. We have people with eyes all over the place, and we're going to snatch those guys. So they can make ICE's job more difficult, longer, and more dangerous, but it's not going to stop ICE from doing the job, guys. The bottom line is, ICE says it's safer for everybody involved if locals would just hand these guys over in jail once they're arrested, but they don't. They let them out onto the streets. They don't tell ICE about it, so ICE has to spend a lot of resources gathering intel, finding these guys, and then going out into the community to do arrests, which could be dangerous. You saw that combative Haitian man, and then you saw, in the case of that one MS-13 member, his friend got snagged. They weren't even looking for him. They were looking for the MS-13 guy. They picked him up because a sanctuary jurisdiction released the MS-13 guy. ICE found him and then found the guy who was in the apartment with. They found out he was an illegal alien as well. So now he's going to be deported too.
Wow.
I'm going to be so good here, Leah, but I just have to. Okay, I'm so sorry. But as I'm sitting there, and for those of you tuning in, I told Leah that she asked me not to talk so we could get through the news like rapid fire, but I can't. So I'm sitting here and I'm getting so angry because these people have been, like, they know that they're guilty. Like, they know that they are guilty and they are being released. We have, just because they are here illegally, which is also a crime, they get to be released after committing crimes. It's the complete opposite. This has been upside stinking down world. I cannot even like wrap my brain around it. The fact that that all ICE has needed is the president's go ahead to go and grab these people from these sanctuary cities is absolutely stinking mind blowing, which means that the Biden administration deliberately wants people out there raping people.
Kind of.
On purpose.
Yeah.
That's it.
So just Jennifer lady on Twitter was that, honestly, a really great ministry for churches should be to consider to help illegal immigrants apply for green cards and for citizenship. Like, help them to become legal citizens.
We don't want rapists as citizens.
So I said, I've met a great many people here illegally. I know a guy who does all the side work for the rich people around here, and he is a really, really great guy. At an election integrity summit that we attended a couple years ago, the food was served by a team of illegal immigrants who worked their tails off, but they were illegal immigrants. We got to speak to a little lady and pray with her and bless her little heart. I've had my roof put on by illegal immigrants, one who wanted to buy my rooster. And he said he didn't really want to be in the United States, that he once had a farm in Mexico and lived a nice rural life, but it was destroyed economically. We as Americans aren't aware that our economic policies destroyed a very delicate ecosystem in South America, especially Mexico. With NAFTA, we sent cheaper GMO corn into a country that had 200 varieties of corn. Corn was their life. They had a relationship with the land. The corn growers sold to the hog farmers. The hog farmers hired local me. It was balanced. We undercut the locally grown heirloom corn and destroyed this entire system in the mid-90s. That is what you saw. That is why you saw a huge influx of new immigrants at that time. I live in Ohio, and I never saw one person from South America until I returned home from Rama a few years in the late 90s, early 2000s. Maybe we need to fix what we broke instead of trying to put a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. I wonder, too, if as Christians we are missing the much, much bigger picture. We obviously can't take everyone who wants to come here, so you're saying help them obey the law. You are incentivizing people to break into a country illegally. To help someone obey the law, you have to go back to the original law that they broke, crossing a border illegally. We have a country that relies heavily on slave-type labor. Fix Mexico and people won't need to come here and live 25-to-1 apartment and send money back home to their wives and children who they miss. And it's interesting is under Obama, towards the last part of Obama, you started to see women coming up more, and you started to see more families. But in the early 2000s, it was just men coming up. They just needed work,
right?
And they were willing. And then it became a an industry.
Here's the thing. So I think that like this is very Bukele feeling. It has that feel of just like going in and sweeping and doing the things. Do you think that ICE has enough resources to do what needs to be done?
Yeah, I do as far as ICE, but remember, for every one that's actually been convicted of a crime, there's like 100,000 that haven't, and they're still here illegally.
But I mean, a lot of them are criminals. Getting the criminals gone, that seems like such a huge undertaking. I'm just wondering if we have enough resources to make it happen.
The Trump, there's I don't know how many came under just this year under Biden, but I know it was over 1 million, and the Trump administration arrested 538. So we're looking at just getting the worst of the worst. Okay, illegal immigrant criminals, including a suspected terrorist, 4 members of the Trey Day Argania gang, and several illegals convicted of sex crimes against minors. The Trump administration also deported hundreds of illegal immigrant criminals via military aircraft. The largest mass deportation operation in history is well underway. One of the photos was snapped at Biggs Army Airfield in Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. Sources at U.S. Customs and Border Protection told Fox News about 80 people boarded the plane for Guatemala. They were saying that, according to air traffic control, Guatemala is receiving the most planes.
Wow.
Just in, if you scroll down, federal agents are carrying out raids and arresting people. Oh, I think we saw that one. That's the one that everybody's showing, that one. So this is breaking news. I just got this. Mexico refuses to accept one of these U.S. deportation flights. The Mexican government has criticized President Trump's unilateral immigration actions, and the landing would have required Mexico's assistance. Mexico denied a U.S. military plane access to land yesterday, at least temporarily frustrating Trump. The 2 Guatemalan-bound Air Force C-17s carrying 80 people apiece flew deportees out of the U.S. Thursday night. The sources said the 3rd flight, slotted for Mexico, never took off. So we're still working on making Mexico great again. That's craziness over there. So I think we might come back to some of those. Oh, here we go. New flight data shows Guatemala received Trump's first jumbo jet load. Representative Tony Gonzalez, Republican from Texas, posted on Twitter this morning that the U.S. Department of Defense and U.S. Immigration ICE deported 80 Guatemalan illegal aliens. There's Elon Musk there, and these are the deportation flights. And you can see, according to a U.S. defense official, 2 C-17 transports. And you can actually, there are guys who have hundreds of thousands of people who follow them on YouTube just to watch flight manifests.
This one, you want to play it?
You can, yeah. You get the idea. And then if you scroll down on this, you'll see the U.S. Marine Corps have arrived at the U.S. and Mexico border. So Donald Trump is sending Marines in.
Wow, that's amazing. Look at the wall. Wow. It's really something.
So the Trump effect. Migrant encounters at border ports of entry have dramatically declined since Trump took office. From just up until January 19th, there were 1,500 encounters a day. The day Trump was inaugurated, there were 463. And as of the 22nd, there were 44. So we're down a lot. from. We're down a lot. All right, if you go to the next, scroll down. Scrolling. You can see there the numbers I just read to you. Daily encounters, and now we're down to 44. Now, this happened during Trump's first administration, by the way. But I think it's happening a little bit quicker now. There's our famous Haitian. You are now famous, brother.
Aquí al lado de mi casa, señores. Migración.
This was in Chicago.
Oops, they're a little bit, doesn't want to go.
Got a warrant. A warrant for what? You know what.
You know what. There's another one here. Dear Democrats, I don't want to hear.
Oh my gosh, that's so I would love to play the music. I'm sorry. We'll get copyrighted on it. Let me skip ahead here.
Like a poisonous
Oh, stop
That's
it.
okay. We don't want to get it. And there's one more. I think that is. There's another one.
Of course, they would be playing Ice Ice Baby.
Well, yeah.
That's hilarious.
How could you not?
The operation begins before dawn. Agents with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who asked us to conceal their identities, gearing up at a parking lot in suburban Boston. We're along for the ride.
We don't do large-scale roundups. Every individual that's here today has come to our attention because they've been arrested by a local municipality for a felony or an egregious crime.
Wow.
So after several hours of waiting, they've just found one of their targets, and we're on the move.
When we arrive, we see an immigrant from the Dominican Republic who ICE says is here illegally and is a
Different
convicted sex offender.
Oh.
He tells me he came to the U.S. for a better way of life and denies the charges against him. He's led away in handcuffs.
ICE agents had been watching this particular subject for at least a week.
On this day, it took about 16 ICE agents to arrest 5 immigrants who ICE says are undocumented, have criminal records, and had been released on bail by local jurisdictions instead of being turned over to ICE, each requiring 40 to 80 hours of surveillance beforehand.
Do you have enough resources to do this?
No, we don't. And that's one of the problems that, when jurisdictions don't cooperate with us, we have to go out into the community, which puts our officers at risk.
But these are the waning days of the Biden administration. President-elect Trump won, pledging to do much more, including mass deportations. And after Democratic city and state officials vowed to block Trump's deportation plan, incoming border czar Tom Homan is doubling down with this warning.
If they cross that line and knowingly harbor and conceal illegal alien, well, I'm going to seek prosecution.
I am concerned of what a mass deportation would look like for
Attorney Valerie Napier is an immigrant advocate who says calls to her clinic have tripled since Trump was reelected.
What do you say to those people who voted for Donald Trump and wanted a crackdown in the immigration system?
And not everyone is a criminal.
We pressed ICE about its current mission.
There are some who fear that ICE will also arrest immigrants that are here that may not have criminal records. To that, you say what?
To that, what we are focused on is obviously public safety, national security threats. But then there are those, too, that have exhausted all legal means. In the end, they've been ordered legally removed from the United States, and we'll go ahead and effect those removal orders.
2 U.S. officials tell NBC News that even before any mass deportation plans, ICE is already facing a budget shortfall of $230 million.
So, honestly, this whole idea of the regular everyday Joe that, just wants to be in America for a better life. We hardly have the resources to get the criminals. I can guarantee you they're going to triage this and they're going to go after the criminals first. So you're not looking at mass deportation until like year 3.5 of Trump's administration almost.
Well, remember, they wouldn't even give Trump $4 billion for the border wall, but they gave Zelensky over $100 billion.
Yeah. And this whole idea, we don't even have the money and the resources to get the criminals out of here. What's wrong with you people?
Well, we are going to talk about North Carolina, and Donald Trump said no more aid to any, I think, to
any
Ukraine.
any foreign nation.
But I don't, not just any foreign nation, because we give a lot to a lot of foreign nations. But I think he was kind of specific.
Like new
until,
aid.
Yeah. Until, I think it might be new
I think
aid.
it's just new aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until North Carolina is taken care of. All right. Speaking of ICE, I just thought this was an interesting story. A bulk carrier, a barge is paralyzed on Lake Erie as ice. Boom, ching. You see?
Oh, wow. I see what you did there.
Into that.
Okay. I wasn't thinking you were
ice
gonna go
coverage exceeds a 50-year trend. So obviously we are not experiencing global warming here in the Great Lakes. Climate misinformation, disinformation, relentlessly pushed by the far left corporate media outlets had their readership believing that they were on the brink of perishing in a fiery planet, blaming everything from Taylor Swift's private jets to cow toots. In late 2024, then came old man winter, unleashing a polar vortex across the eastern half of the U.S., bringing record low temperatures in some regions and down south, which we are going to show. I have a friend of mine in the northern area. I don't know if she's in the Panhandle. Forget where's she at? She's Tallahassee or where's she at? Bobby. 9 inches. 9 inches of snow. It's hilarious. Unleashing a polar vortex across the eastern half of the U.S. and bringing record low temperatures in some regions.
Sanibel Island?
No. She's like upper Florida. Multiple winter storms traverse the mid-Atlantic and northeast, including an incredibly rare snowstorm that battered New Orleans. I'm going to play you guys some video of that. But scrolling down, you can see that Lake Erie is over 80% ice covered. Kind of a interesting turn of events here.
There's no volume. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at.
You're looking at ice on one side and water on the other.
Okay, that's interesting.
So like where the people are, and then it's ice. I'd like to see that, like in person. I would like to see that.
Well, this is just, I don't know that was
Scroll
covering
down.
exactly the ice, because that said that it was just covering the tracking of that flight. Or the, whatever it says, great tool for marine traffic shows its track today.
It said, it says 80 freighter Manitoulin is stuck in the ice just outside of Buffalo Harbor. That's the ice.
Okay, well, here's the freighter.
Word is they will sit there until an icebreaker gets them out of Buffalo Harbor.
Whoa.
Oh, dear. See, there's that. See, I told you that was what we were looking at. Told you. Look at that.
Look
It's
at
stuck.
it.
I'm stuck. I don't want to be stuck in the middle of ice. Like, please. That is something.
That's
like,
why that's not your job.
I know. It's not ever going to be my job. Because I don't want to get stuck in the middle of ice.
So there's another picture of it that it's where it's stuck.
Great Lakes freighter stuck in Lake Erie. Oh.
So here's this ice tracker. The NOAA ice cover data from the Great Lakes ice tracker shows that Lake Erie's current ice coverage is 80%, well above the 50-year trend of 46% for this time of year.
Yowzers. Okay, so we go to these two YouTubes, and we are going to play the Arctic blast that hit the southern region this week.
Severe winter weather impacting nearly the entire country. In Texas, Galveston's piers covered in snow. New Orleans' famous French Quarter, Bourbon Street, is seeing blizzard-like conditions today.
I don't think I've ever seen snow actually stick to the ground out in New Orleans.
Louisiana State Police responding to more than 50 crashes statewide due to the icy conditions, urging everyone to avoid travel as record snowfall has made roads dangerous.
Bridge is bad idea.
We're not used to this weather here in Louisiana, so just be cautious.
In South Texas, multiple people were killed after a crash on an icy bridge, according to Zavala County officials. In Houston, freeways and roads closing down after crashes. The airport was shut down.
This is crazy. In Texas, you would never expect this.
Several counties in Alabama are suspending travel, saying all their roads and bridges are considered impassable due to the snow. And the Sunshine State, Florida, also experiencing rare, heavy snowfall. Florida's Panhandle under a winter storm warning. Frigid single-digit temperatures are also gripping the north and Midwest. The Detroit River is nearly frozen over.
Whoa.
In Canada, this is a familiar sound. In Atlanta, not so much. It's one of many surreal scenes across the southern U.S. Beaches coated with ice, palm trees drooping, weighed down with snow. From the Carolinas to Florida to Texas, a once-in-a-lifetime winter storm has caused havoc at airports, snarled traffic, and caused 10 deaths, mostly on icy roads.
We're seeing numerous collisions. I mean, hundreds of single-car crashes.
where vehicles run off the road.
The snowfall in many cities historic, shattering century-old
At least they got some
records.
boots. They got
In
put
New
some
Orleans,
warm
parts
socks
of the
inside of
famous
them.
French Quarter turned into a hockey rink.
No!
We've been doing everything that we can to let people know that they should stay at home.
The city, not equipped for
They
winter
don't
weather, relying on
real
outside help for
snowplows.
equipment to move the snow.
So those who don't recognize that type vehicle, it is a snowplow. We have 14 of them right now going throughout the city of New Orleans.
Experts say it's
That's
another
hilarious.
example of weather that's increasingly unstable and unpredictable.
With global warming, it isn't just heat. It's extremes.
Oh,
So extreme cold,
okay.
extreme heat.
Right. It's has nothing to do with weather
flooding,
manipulation, you
snowstorms.
stinkers.
That's snow a novelty for millions of Americans. In Houston, a snowball fight. Snowboarding in Greenville, North Carolina.
I've been up all night for this. I've been excited for Greenville to finally have snow. I'm out here snowboarding on a skateboard deck with no wheels.
For thousands of Canadian snowbirds who flock south to escape winter, not so funny.
We come down here to get rid of the damn snow, and here we have snow. Everything's still closed down here because, you know, they have no snow plows or anything.
That snowbird says the sun is breaking through where he is, though much of the Gulf Coast is still in the grips of a record cold snap, with little relief expected before the weekend. Jimmy Strachan.
Yeah, I'm not buying that this is any kind of
Brr.
natural event here.
Brr.
You know what I love? Here's the thing. This is what I want you guys to do from now on. When you hear someone like that weather guy talk about, you know, global warming, what he means to say.
What he means to say?
Weather manipulation.
Yes.
So he means to say weather manipulation is not just about extreme heat. It's also extreme cold. It's extremes because weather manipulation, they like to do extreme things like set whole states on fire and so on.
The Trump State Department on Friday halted spending on almost all foreign aid grants for 90 days. We're going to get this cleared up here, which also appears to apply to funding for military assistance to Ukraine. The guidance issued as Secretary of State Marco Rubio was sent to all diplomatic and consular posts and orders all department staffers to issue stop work orders on nearly all existing foreign assistant awards. It appears to go further than Donald Trump's recent executive order, which instructed the department to pause foreign aid grants for 90 days. I thought it was pending a review by the secretary. It had not been clear from the president's order if it would affect already appropriated funds or Ukraine aid. The new guidance means no further actions will be taken to disperse aid funding to programs already approved by the U.S. government, according to 3 current and 2 former officials familiar with the new guidance. Rubio also outlined the Trump administration's stance on spending, saying every dollar we spend, every program we fund, and every policy we pursue must be justified with the answer to 3 simple questions. The questions are, does the action make America safe, stronger, and more prosperous? The new order reportedly shocked State Department officials. State just totally went nuclear on foreign assistance, one State Department official told Politico. Rubio was confirmed unanimously by the Senate the day before and is the first of Trump's cabinet nominees on the job. Previously, he was a senior senator from Florida, and he served on the Foreign Relations Committee for more than a decade. The document specifies that Israel and Egypt will continue to receive that sweet U.S. taxpayer money. It also allows emergency food assistance and legitimate expenses incurred prior to the date of this guidance under existing award. One State Department official, as well as 2 former Biden officials, told Politico that the pause appears to stop aid to Ukraine, Jordan, and Taiwan, while the report suggests the guidance could open the U.S. government to civil liability from lawsuits over unfulfilled contracts. How does that work? How do you
Is
have
the aid a contract?
How do you have a contract for aid?
I don't think that it works that way. Like, if we don't want to give you the money, we ain't giving you the money.
Speaking of money, the Bank of America said if you are a conservative, you can't bank here. And Donald Trump hit back at them at the World Economic Forum, where he called out Bank of America, Brian Moynihan, and other banks for discriminating against conservatives.
And by the way, speaking of you, and
I think there's going to
you've
be
done
a
a
curse word
fantastic
here in a
job, but I
second.
hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives because what you're doing is wrong.
Bloomberg referred to this as an unsubstantiated right-wing conspiracy theory, while the bank itself issued a statement that said, "We welcome conservatives and would never close accounts for political reasons and don't have a political litmus test." Except that's complete horse poop. Not only did 13 states warn the bank about debanking conservatives, several people, such as General Michael Flynn, responded with a firsthand account of what happened to him. You may read from General Flynn here.
He says, "This is total BS. My wife and I lost our accounts with Bank of Un-America, he says. In nearly 30 years, never missed a mortgage payment. Near perfect." That's not surprising from General Flynn there. "Near perfect credit score. Always paid my bills. They dropped us without warning. Strongest recommendation, dump them and use a credit union instead." And then Charlie Kirk says, "I know dozens of people who lost their bank accounts due to their association with Trump. This is a lie, and the new Trump administration should do an investigation into this. We have the receipts."
Now, if you go back to the Zero Hedge article, you can close that out and go back to the Zero Hedge article. John Eastman, one of the attorneys that argued for Donald Trump, says, "So why, pray tell, did you cancel my and my wife's accounts after I had been a customer for nearly 40 years? And why did you refuse to tell me why? Here is the cancellation letter." Let's see that puppy.
"We've made the decision to close your personal checking and savings account."
Okay, well, there you have it, folks. Here, John Eastman, if you scroll down to back to the Zero Hedge article, cannot get an answer to why his bank closed on
For
him.
questions, if you have recently received a letter stating your account or accounts are being closed, the reason for this is that Bank of America made a business decision to close the account, and or we have determined you're operating in a business type we have chosen not to service at Bank of America. It is a Bank of America policy that we do not provide any additional information regarding our decision to close an account.
Senate Banking Committee Chair Tim Scott has called on debanked businesses and individuals to report their incidences. Senate Banking Committee Chair Tim Scott calls on debanked businesses and individuals to report allegations to the staff. Billionaire investor Mark Anderson outlined to Joe Rogan in November about the federal government's rogue Operation Choke Point. He described it as a move of the Department of Justice that initially targeted marijuana businesses and gun manufacturers, adding that under Biden, it was then weaponized to destroy political opponents, tech founders, and the cryptocurrency community. Zeno says, yes, they're lying, blatantly lying, because Bank of America accused of religious and political discrimination. The nation's second largest bank has denied services to gun manufacturers, fossil fuel producers, and contractors for U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. It has also canceled the accounts of Christian ministry groups, saying one such group trains pastors.
He's operating a business type that we have chosen not to service. It's the same thing that other guy got.
Debanking is another weapon used to silence anyone who exposes corruption and publishes truth against false narratives. I guess that Mark Anderson himself was debanked. Is he a contractor? I'm guessing he's got to be.
So it seems like the same story across the board that everybody
had a religion and gun store problem.
Mm-hmm.
So they lied.
They lied.
They lied to your faces. They lied. Now, speaking of finances and banks, BlackRock CEO at Davos this week. So Trump spoke at the WEF. He also went to Davos, which we'll cover more on Sunday for our World News program. But this is highly concerning to me. This is Larry Fink, CEO of the world's largest fund manager, BlackRock, and he would like to turn stocks and bonds into cryptocurrency.
As a huge believer of crypto and blockchain and tokenization, I want the SEC to rapidly approve the tokenization of bonds and stocks.
Okay.
Well, it keeps, again, with, the post that you made today in reply to Sally's question.
Sally, if you're watching this, has nothing to do with you. And
Hi,
I'm
Sally.
so glad for you that you have crypto. Her question was, why are all the gold and silver people mad? Like, why do they hate on crypto? And I wouldn't say I hate on crypto as much as I would hate on the US dollar. Right? And so this has nothing to do with Sally, because Sally doubled her money. Go, Sally. Go, Sally, go. Ride, Sally, ride.
But that's what I was talking about when we were discussing it today. And again, to Larry Fink's point, I believe, and I don't think that I'm alone in this, that the stock market is gambling, right? It's the same thing. You are betting. It's hedge your bets, right?
Right. It used to not be.
They're called hedge funds.
Can we just explain what the stock market is supposed to be? The stock market is a place where you're supposed to be able to raise capital from investors who think that your company is a good thing, and then as your company expands and gets bigger and better, then you get a dividend because you helped make that person make their company bigger. That's not what stocks are anymore.
Now we have all these day traders and people that it's literally a game, and it's gambling and it's manipulation, and you're banking on, no pun intended, someone else losing so that you can gain. It's gambling. It's wrong. Okay, just full stop. So I'm actually really glad that Larry Fink has said the quiet part out loud, because now you have just told everyone that cryptocurrencies are the same thing as your stocks and bonds and gambling. It's all gambling. You do understand, you don't invest in the dollar bill. We have to use it because that's quote unquote the currency that we have, but it's no one ever goes, I'm going to get into the dollar, right? No one says I'm going to go buy dollar bills. And the dollar is supposed to maintain its value steadily and not have inflation. It's supposed to be like a dollar is a dollar is a dollar. And so if you're wanting cryptocurrencies to be more like stocks and bonds, then what you're doing is admitting the fact that crypto is not a currency. It is a game. It is an investment. It is gambling. It's something that you are, it's a manipulated and manipulatable thing, which is what's so fascinating, is the creator of Bitcoin never intended for it to be that.
I don't think he was the creator of Bitcoin. I know he was in the first
well, whatever. In the beginning.
So Tucker Carlson interviewed a guy. I want to be clear.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I want to be accurate with who we're talking about here. So, Tucker Carlson interviewed one of these guys who was on the forefront.
My point is that the idea behind Bitcoin was not ever to be something where the prices were supposed to like rise and then fall, and you may like invest in Bitcoin and you may invest in these other cryptocurrencies and all of this, that, and the other. And then, maybe you'll do big here and maybe this coin won't do big, but you're going to try and you're going to see, and like all this stuff. Like, that's not a currency. Okay. That is a market of something. Yeah. But that doesn't make it a currency. So call it what it is. Don't lie about it. Don't call it a cryptocurrency, because it's not a currency.
Right.
At that point.
So I said this, and I want to hear what you guys have to think about crypto. So put it in the chat, and I'm not here to judge people personally. Never before in history has there been the ability to print money out of thin air. Even with the stock market in the beginning, there had to be a rise in production for the value of the stock to go up. I think we all know that the stock market is speculation. I remember in the dot-com boom, our grandmother lost a third of all of her savings in stocks. I know some who made and lost millions. Some lost everything. In 2008, our grandmother died and her portfolio needed to be liquidated. She had much of her wealth in GM stock, which tanked. It eventually went down to zero, all gone. That was money that my mom and my uncle needed to live off of, but it was money down the toilet. Gold and silver might ebb and flow, but its value and use as money is universal and stands the test of what real money is. Crypto is highly volatile and speculative. Nothing is added to show a gain in value. It's more of a Ponzi. I know a lot of people who are into crypto, and in the short term, it seems that some are doing well. However, when you look at Sam Bankman-Fried, who was crypto's golden boy, he was exposed for his scam, and a lot of people lost a lot of money, billions of dollars. When you see that he scammed people out of billions of dollars, that is individual people losing sometimes their whole life savings. FTX seemed legit. He had the mainstream finance world calling him a godlike creature, but in reality, it was all a scam. Then there was the angle that the CIA has funded cryptocurrencies to get us all used to them, i.e. to get the red pill community to behind them to bring about CBDCs. You will own nothing and you will be happy. My biggest beef with crypto, and I believe it's the one that Catherine Austin Fitz sees wrong with it, and Lynette. Yes, it's not sound money. Gold and silver is sound money. I understand. I do believe, I'm 100% certain, with no degree of uncertainty, that cryptocurrencies are the gateway to you will own nothing and you'll be happy. What they want to do is they want to now tokenize. What does it mean to tokenize? He says he wants to tokenize stocks and bonds, which means he wants to make them make believe. You don't hold, you'll never, like, you can actually hold your stocks like a piece of paper and you can like give them to people and sign them over to people. But with crypto, it's tokenized. And then what do they want to tokenize? They want to tokenize your house. Then they want to tokenize and put on the blockchain all of your assets. And it's very hard for us to see how this could be possible. But I was reading up what are the benefits of crypto, why or tokenizing stocks and bonds. Well, they're like, well, maybe it's because you could then own pieces of something, but not the whole. I'd like to own pieces of your house. You know, you could sell pieces of your house, but not the whole. It's a very.
I want to emphasize when you're saying you will own nothing and you'll be happy, because you're saying it so fast, you're not even using the N.
Oh,
it sounds like you're saying you'll owe nothing, because that sounds great.
You'll own nothing and you will be happy.
Nothing and you will be happy.
So I personally am not like other gold and silver, quote, investors. I don't see gold and silver as an investment. For the first 250 years of this nation, a dollar was a dollar with little variation. This is what is known as sound money. Sound money does not fluctuate. If you were in crypto in 2022, you were swimming with sharks. Unlike the stock market, there is nothing tangible like toilet paper or laundry detergent behind crypto. It's all kind of niche finance world. I think of P&G. Like if you buy P&G stock, it should go up and down. Doesn't mean it does, based on how well their products sell, right? Crypto goes up and down based on the whim of the people, who's buying, who's selling. And it's kind of a niche finance world that goes up and down with the whim. This is from a 2022 article. Overall, the crypto market has lost a little over $2 trillion. Do you know how much that is?
A lot of money.
Now, remember, we don't do great math here. So 1,000 million is a billion. And 1,000 billion is a trillion. Okay. I believe so. You can fact check me. Here's how much value the 7 popular cryptocurrencies changed in 2022. As of December 22nd, 2022, Terra, one of the top CBDCs or top
cryptocurrencies,
down 100%. Solana down 93%. AMP down 93%. Cardano down 80%. Ether down 67%. Bitcoin went down 63%. And the Dogecoin, which is just a meme coin of no value, what's so stinking ever, down 53%. The guy who originally came or pushed Bitcoin, we were talking about that guy. His name is Roger Ver. He was on Tucker Carlson, and he was explaining that that crypto was not designed to be an investment. It was designed to be a source of trading, of an alternative monetary transaction, which would mean that it wouldn't go up in value. Who really came up with all of these weird rules about Bitcoin? When you look it up, look up, Google, how do you mine a Bitcoin? It is so retarded. It's like Pokemon on steroids for little boys, okay? How is it found in the universe? It's also weird and also very well cryptic. So much secrecy and so much energy used to, quote, mine these hidden gems. It's a game. Creating Bitcoin consumes 166 terawatt hours electricity each year, more than is used by the Netherlands or the Philippines. Worldwide, Bitcoin mining uses more electricity than Poland, a nation of 36.8 million people. That's insane. It's certainly not environmental friendly. That being said, we are all using technology. I get that, okay, in some form. I guess the real question is there somewhere we need to draw the line? Something that feels wrong and excessive. You know where we drew the line? The metaverse. We decided, I'm not putting on your goggles. I'm not going to go live in your metaverse. And people said, no, that was just too far. You know, the vaccine, too far. To sum things up, and I know this is a long comment, I believe it's more of a posture of the heart. What's your goal? A quick investment turnaround, long-term security? We are $35 trillion in debt because the fiat just isn't real. It's fake, made up fairy tale money, and the system will come crashing down at some point. And I say just pray about it.
So for those of you that have no idea, cryptocurrency, even one of the questions in the chat, is crypto and Bitcoin one and the same? So cryptocurrencies are these electronic, quote unquote, currencies, all these coins.
The blockchain.
My understanding is that Bitcoin is the only one that's actually mined. So they say that it's the only real cryptocurrency because it's the only thing that has something that backs it, and these are these coins that
it's limited,
or it's limited. There's only 21 million of these coins on the internet that you can go and mine, and like Leah was saying, it takes a whole lot of electricity to mine these bitcoins. Other people, like now Melania Trump has a coin, and Trump has a coin, and all of these coins, it's just something that's like made up, that it's all done on faith, what it's worth. Okay. And so it's a very fascinating thing, but cryptocurrencies that would be like saying soda pop, and then Coke is a type of soda pop when we're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin would be a brand name of a soda pop, right? And then the cryptocurrencies. When we talk about central bank digital currencies, what they're talking about is digitizing everything. And then with the central bank digital currencies, we would then see the dollar go away. We would no longer have a tangible anything, much less paper or much less a coin. We wouldn't even have paper. And the central bank would then issue these, and then they would usher in your what am I thinking of? Your monthly stipend. What is it called? Modern monetary theory. Somebody help me out here. Where they're going to give you money every month. They're going to
stop. You do it to me every time.
Every time I go to ask Leah something.
Universal basic income.
Thank you. The UBI. Then they're going to institute that, and then everybody gets, a minimum of $2,000 every month or something like that, and we're all on welfare. And they're going to incentivize the central bank digital currencies by economic collapse. So economic collapse comes, people can afford to buy bread, and they're like, da 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 da, here comes the United States central bank digital currency. Here's going to come the UBI, the universal basic income, and then you have to accept this money because you can't afford to eat otherwise, which is why we're constantly telling you guys to, while you can, get you some gold and silver. Now, like Leah said, and I'll just say this very quickly, gold and silver is not an investment. When you're watching the quote unquote value of gold and silver rise rapidly every single day, like it's crazy how much gold just keeps increasing in quote unquote value. It's not increasing in value. The value of the gold is remaining the same. What you see when you're watching the price of gold go up is you're watching the value of the dollar decline. So when you have your 1 ounce of gold that's worth, $3,000, and then next year it's worth $3,500, and the year after that it's worth $4,000, right? But if you had just had $2,000 in cash or $3,000 in cash, next year it's going to be worth less and less and less and less. So the only way to protect yourself from inflation, if you have money to hang on to, is gold and silver. Right? Because inflation is going to happen. Economic collapse is going to happen. But gold and the value of gold is going to remain the same. However, the paper dollar comparison of that is going to go the way of inflation. Now, like we always say on this show, inflation adjusted value, not even inflation, but unsuppressed value of gold right now should be around $10,000 an ounce. At some point, like Lynette Zhang talks about, that is going to be realized. So if you want to say it's investment, okay, you could. I don't believe in getting gold and silver for those reasons. I put money into gold and silver for the very simple reason of it's God's money, and I believe it's obedience to him to do that. It's an act of faith every single time I purchase, or I don't even like to call it purchase, every time I trade out fake money for real money. But in addition to that, I don't want to hang on to paper dollars that tomorrow it's worth less, 10 years from now it's worth less. I want to be able to protect myself against inflation, and that's what gold and silver is for me, full stop. Now, if you guys want, we just got a text message today from Kim, like, how do I get it? What's the best place to get silver? I'm going to suggest that everybody goes to resistancechicks.com/God's money. Schedule a consultation call with Zhang Enterprises, and I'm telling you, they can answer all of your questions, whether you choose to use them or not. I don't even care. Call them, okay, and ask them all of the questions that you would be asking of us if you could individually give us a call, okay? Yeah. Resistancechicks.com/God's money.
All right, the Biden administration just dished out $590 million in taxpayer funds to Moderna 3 hours before he left office.
So I saw that. And that's an IOU pay. Like I owe you and now I'm paying you.
That's
like,
good.
right?
That's good. All right, back to the CBDCs real quick. Whitney Webb. It is because Ian Carroll says everyone's talking about the JFK declassification, but we just got a ban on all CBDC projects of any kind from the White House. Am I missing something? That's a big blank blank to the banking cartel and the money changers' plans to get ahead and the new era of digital. Or is this a fake out? Whitney Webb, she's on it. I love this. She goes, it is a provable fake out. And what the banking cartel has been asking for. Trump's executive order is all about dollar stablecoins being used to extend dollar hegemony, and dollar stablecoins are just as programmable, surveillable, and seizable as a CBDC. The only difference is that the central bank isn't issuing them directly, and it maintains the two-tier banking system, which is what Wall Street has been lobbying for once the digital dollar discussions began in earnest. They were like, you know what? We don't want the central. We want to be able to be still making our. Here's the thing. Here's the thing you have to understand about a central bank digital currency. The banks are robbers and thieves, and I don't have time to make a whole show on this because you can see my tabs. Michelle can. They are robbers and they are thieves. They have a free printing press for as much stinking money as they want. If it's central bank instead of their own banks, the two-tiered banking system where you still have your all of your Bank of America and things like that, they want to have their money printers, okay? So this is what Wall Street was like, you know what, CBDCs, no. In the US, mass surveillance is a public-private partnership. Why would surveillable digital money be any different? Peter Thiel has Palantir, which on their website had was boasting of using their surveillance technology for finding J6ers. Kudos to she says Mark Goodwin, who called that the dollar stablecoins would be the de facto CBDC several years ago. If you, Ian, or anybody else reading this is interesting, she would like to discuss this. So I'm kind of hoping that we see them discuss this out so we can hash it out later. All right, the one right next to that, when you close it out, you can see that roads headed back to Mexico are jam-packed.
That's interesting.
All right, Michelle, I want to go back to this. We're going to hit a few more things here. So if we just go back to this tweet, and you can... I'll
close this.
Yeah, you should be closing out a lot more. I would think you might have done a little bit more than you think. Close that. Okay, here we go. This is where we want to be. So there was a doctor, Ethan Haim, and he was a whistleblower in Texas at Texas Children's Hospital who exposed the child sex change program, and he had a case against him. Josh Hawley brought it to the Trump administration, and that case has been dismissed. But he was calling out this week. So that's good news. Now, here you're going to see some J6ers. Oh, wait. Oh, go ahead and see this. You can see this is kind of funny.
1.5 foot snow drifts in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this person says the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to say Gulf of Mexico. I can't do the American. Wow.
Crazy stuff.
That's really loud. Okay, that's crazy. All right, next. Did you do this one?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, we're going to use that one later.
Come back.
Here we go. No, we're right here. We're there.
Right,
we're there.
AJ.
Here we are. This is the J6ers.
Oh, this is exciting.
Let's go! Let's go! Keep it
I don't know if I can do it. YouTube might just kick us off. I can kind of mute it and unmute it.
You can, I guess we can. It's not as fun when you can't hear people. I can do it at the end of the show.
You can't hardly hear people. Could you imagine you doing a review on this? Yeah, can I get an appeal on this? Yeah.
Because AJ's not allowed on YouTube, so you don't have to. You can unmute it. Or you can mute it.
So for the podcast listeners, I mean, it's so moving. I don't even have a problem like telling you what like I'm seeing. I mean, I'm angry. I'm moved, but I'm still so mad. Like, I can't even believe that these people have been in prison for all this time. Like, this is unreal.
That's good. Don't play the music.
Okay, well,
just turn.
I'm just seeing what's
stop
next. You don't want me to play
Alex Jones.
Okay, so you don't want to play the rest of this video.
No, but thank you,
Okay.
Jesus. That's really great.
No,
I was
he's just
thinking about it. I
advertising.
don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to have us taken down because of the music.
Okay.
So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, wonderful seeing the J6ers being released and their families meeting up with them. We're gonna talk about the pro-lifers here in a second. I'll find some more J6 footage in a little bit. Trump just rescinded the COVID vax mandate for legal immigrants. So if you didn't know this, and this is going to be great news for our viewers and friends, Carl and Shannon, they have their son married somebody from Germany, and she has not been able to be here legally because she won't get the vaccine. The swimmer Riley Gaines, she married somebody 3 years, can't get a green card because they won't get the vaccine. Trump has rescinded that.
That's amazing. I can't even believe that it was real. Like that was a mandate. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, honestly, I really truly believe it was a way, think about this, of screening out people that were not liberal from coming. Like if you get, like, here's the thing. The Biden administration wanted to be vindictive against anybody that they deemed undesirable.
Was there a mandate for
no
illegal migrants to get the vaccine?
Just legal.
Unreal.
Just legal. Just legal.
Maddening.
You can skip the next one. We'll come back to that. You can
Did
close
this
that one. Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Now, what will be in the documents as he declassifies
The JFK, RFK, and MLK Jr.
Lastly,
files.
sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades.
This is really exciting. I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty exciting for me.
Everything will be revealed.
That's cool that he said that. Everything will be revealed. That's awesome. That's super cool.
Guys, we are going to be bringing that to you.
Is this another one?
No, we'll bring that to you
Okay.
later. You don't have to. You can close out for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about what has the little bit that's been released so far. We don't really know much. Let's see. There is a shocking CIA document reveals the U.S. military's plot to kill Americans. A declassified CIA document, this is in my feed, reveals that in the 1960s, the U.S. military planned Operation Northwoods, which involved committing acts of terrorism against American citizens to justify a war with Cuba. The plot included proposals like creating a communist Cuban terror campaign in U.S. cities and even suggested killing U.S. soldiers by blowing up a ship in Guantanamo Bay to blame Cuba, aiming to provoke public support for military action against Fidel Castro. Although signed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff in 1962, the plan was ultimately rejected by JFK. But its recent resurfacing on Reddit has reignited public interest, especially with Trump's promise to release all JFK assassination-related documents, potentially uncovering more about government operations from that era. So this one isn't new, but I will show you which one is new. And one from... Now, this does not mean that
This
it's
is in your feed.
true.
So
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
trying
have
to
to close
find it.
out.
Hang
That's
on.
fine.
You can close that.
So Shannon texted and she said that her daughter-in-law did receive her green card the day before Christmas.
Oh, wow.
That's an awesome Christmas present.
Okay, so this is from, I believe, released documents. This is Martin Luther King. It was learned in February 1968 from a very responsible Los Angeles individual in a position to know, I'll just retweet it, that King had been having an illicit love affair with the wife of a prominent Negro dentist in Los Angeles, California, since 1962. He believes King fathered a baby girl born to this woman. Her husband is allegedly sterile. The child resembles King. The individual who reported this is himself a prominent Negro who is related by law to King's mistress. He advised he had known King since 1960 and refers to him as a hypocrite. He also reported that King is having illicit love affairs with 3 other women, one of whom is Joan Baez, the national known folk singer. The prominent Negro who furnished the information said he was appalled that a man of King's low character could cause so much trouble for, I can't say that, black people and the government. As can be seen from the above, it is a fact. And then, so I guess there's more to it that he...
This is not new, though. Like, I've seen this accusation in these files of MLK being accused of being involved in sexual orgies.
Table filled with whiskey. There you go. Laughed at women getting raped and was a communist. So is it true? Listen, that is a FBI document. It does not mean that that's true.
Exactly.
There's no proof with that.
Exactly.
All right. So I actually want to go to the article over here first, which I'm sorry that I have out of order, which is the article on Trump releasing the...
It would make... Let me just... By the way,
go ahead.
For anybody that's like wondering about this, that's up on the screen, because I've seen this before. I don't know if it got leaked or whatever, but I'm thinking to myself, since when do we believe the story of the FBI? Like, they hated him. So, of course, they're going to do anything that they can to run his reputation through the mud. They asked him, like, they told him to kill himself.
Yeah. Speaking of kill yourself, let's not do that. And this is a Breitbart article. Trump has pardoned over 20 pro-life activists targeted by the Biden DOJ. This was a big deal. Josh Hawley was lobbying Trump for this. I don't know if they had them on the docket right at the beginning. If you scroll down, Michelle, you can watch the video here. 23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them elderly people. Go ahead.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Do you know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this.
This makes me happy. Like, all of my super Trumpy supporter people that say that we give Trump too hard of a time, like, this makes me happy. I will give it. This makes me very, very happy.
So they're all in prison now?
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous.
I love that. That's
so
awesome.
This is one of the pro-life leaders targeted by Biden's DOJ. This is footage, early morning FBI raid on his family home. He was...
But if you're not going to let me, then I'll just...
No, I want to know why you were banging on my door with a gun. You're not going to tell me anything?
I tried.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did not try.
They arrested her husband.
Yeah.
And she's upset about it, rightfully. She sounds like a 5-year-old. I'm sorry. She just has one of those voices. But she's rightfully upset about it, and they just took him away.
This is not acceptable.
So if you scroll down, you can see these 11 pro-life activists that were indicted. You can click on that thread there.
This is just...
Meet the Christian meatballs and pop paws charged as co-conspirators. Now, what were they charged under? They were charged under the FACE Act, where it was not ever intended to be used against peaceful protesters, but they were using it because abortion was some sort of federally protected, yada, yada, yada. If you scroll down, you can see grandpas and...
So this is 73-year-old Chester Eugene Gallagher. After the pro-lifer leader promoted a series of anti-abortion events last year on social media in the Nashville area and advertised an activist blockade of an abortion clinic. This is 58-year-old Heather Idoni. She's the owner of Beloved Books Bookstore turned Ukraine Relief Center, was charged by the DOJ with a civil rights conspiracy and Freedom of Access to Clinical Entrances Act. That's the FACE Act.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted
the one lady that looks really good. She's like in her 80s.
Oh,
The
I
one
know.
with the dark hair, and I still can't get over how old she is in real life.
So this is what they're guilty of. That's their crime. That's the actual crime in place to put them in jail.
I'm proud of these people.
Because the abortion clinic was inside of a building, they were saying that they were blocking access to it. It probably would have been different had it been, outside of a building. Now, remember, how many accesses have the BLM rioters stopped access from? I'm going to finish the video.
Oh, okay.
While I kind of, continue to talk. Think about BLM burning buildings down. If anything, you would come in, you would arrest them, and they would just be let go.
Right.
Right? I don't... Okay. You can just let them just a little bit. They would just... Well, it's anointed. It's anointing prayer. These people, they had no idea when they came that day that they were going to end up in jail. Little old ladies. Only just very evil people put little old ladies in jail for singing and praying. They view
This
singing...
man's like crying while
They
he's
view singing and praying the same as burning down the building.
Right. I don't know. If BLM had burned down the building, they wouldn't have been arrested.
No, and they've done that. They've burned down buildings.
Yeah.
And so these, I'm so happy. I want you to see, this is Bevelyn Betty. She was convicted under the FACE Act. Let's not forget this footage of an NYPD officer stating, my wife, Bevelyn Williams, she never blocks the door after being at the location numerous of times. This footage was denied as evidence to the jury by the prosecution and the judge. I can't wait until this entire case is re-looked at. The judge denied a First Amendment instruction to the jury. If you understand the FACE Act, then you understand how important it is to have the First Amendment instruction to be given to the jury. The FACE Act needs to be repealed immediately. Biden's DOJ used this law as a weapon and was one-sided with the law considering what happened with the pregnancy centers. So she is not technically blocking the door.
No, there's police officers there.
Okay. And this was not allowed to be shown. So I want to show you to the left is her getting out of prison.
Right here? Mm-hmm. This is amazing. Hang on. Let me make this big.
Look at mama. Look at mama. Look at us. I got your jacket.
It's cold.
Woo!
This is huge. I'm just so happy right now. You know, after Tuesday's show and like babies needing their mamas.
And that's her little sidekick that usually goes with her everywhere.
You still smell good. You still smell good. It don't matter if you're in the pit of hell. No. Somebody gonna smell good. No. Girl, you know how you gonna sing.
This is awesome.
Look at
Look at the smile on her face. That's just amazing.
My baby. I can't hold on my baby.
She's got to fix her head down.
Goo. You miss your mommy? You miss your mommy? I miss you. I miss you so much. I miss you, Goo. Give me a kiss. Y'all. Oh my God. I'm home. I'm free. I'm free, y'all. I'm free. I'm really free.
I'm going to cry. Oh my goodness.
Jesus. I'm free.
The Lord is good. The Lord is good. Right, boo boo?
Oh, Jesus.
Look at that smile on that little girl.
Yeah, it's so cold out here.
That's so awesome.
All right, we out.
That's so
Okay,
great.
so here's the next one with Lila Rose and Josh Hawley.
Let's see. In which direction?
Just
To the right?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Let me close out this one.
Hey guys, now we're here with Senator Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri, and he's just been crushing it on the floor. What are you just doing?
Well, I was just calling on President Trump to release all of the prisoners, the pro-life prisoners that Joe Biden unjustly prosecuted. He put them in jail. We're talking about, Lila, some folks, one in particular, she's a concentration camp survivor. She's 89 years old. She was in prison because she was sitting in a wheelchair singing hymns at an abortion clinic. This is wrong, and I hope the president will pardon her and all the rest.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you.
And he did. So that's awesome.
And he did. So we've got two speeches here. I'm going to try to, let's do this one. J.D. Vance at the March for Life today in the cold. It should be right next to that Breitbart, right to the left.
Yeah, we were just there.
Nope,
No.
that's maybe it's a different Breitbart. Because I've closed out some. We're not in North Carolina yet. We ain't there yet. We're going to go to North Carolina, y'all. Here's one.
This is a huge crowd that at the March for Life was just gigantic. And of course it always is, but it's super fun to see every single time. You know, this may come as a surprise to a lot of you who have actually been. We have not. We have not.
It's cold, man. Why do you have to do it at this time of year? Why are you doing this to people? Why are you?
I'd love to see how many people actually showed up during.
All right, here's
at
Trump's
the March
speech on
for
it.
Life. It's a pleasure to speak to you from the beautiful Oval Office. That's where we are right now, the magnificent Oval Office. And thank you for
So
turning
happy.
out once again to show your extraordinary love and compassion for the unborn. Each year, Americans of every age, color, and background travel to our nation's capital by the tens of thousands to stand up for precious little babies who cannot stand up for themselves. I am proud to be the first president ever to have joined you in person. As you know, this annual march started 52 years ago on the first anniversary of the disastrous ruling known as Roe v. Wade. That unconstitutional decision took power away from the states and the voters, kicking off 50 years of division and anger. But thanks to your tireless work and devotion across 5 decades, that historic wrong was set right 3 years ago. I was so proud to be a participant. 6 courageous justices of the Supreme Court of the United States returned the issue to the state legislatures and to the people where it belongs. It became a vote of the people. In my second term, we will again stand proudly for families and for life. We will protect the historic gains we have made and stop the radical Democrat push for a federal right to unlimited abortion on demand up to the moment of birth and even after birth. Think of that, after birth. And some people want that. Can you believe it? We will work to offer a loving hand to new mothers and young families, and we will support adoption and foster care. We will protect women and vulnerable children. Under my leadership, a reformed Department of Justice will finally investigate the radical left attacks on churches and crisis pregnancy centers, and we will bring perpetrators to justice. We will get them to justice one way or the other. I will also end the weaponization of law enforcement against Americans of faith, and I'm releasing the Christians and pro-life activists who were persecuted by the Biden regime for praying and living out their faith. I just signed that document, and they're being released. One such American was Paula Harlow. At 75 years old, Paula was sentenced to 2 years in prison after praying outside of a clinic. That's why she was sentenced to 2 years. That's what happened under the Biden regime. In her sentencing, the judge mocked her Christian faith while her husband pleaded to be thrown in jail with his wife, fearing she would die alone behind bars. This week, it was my honor to grant a full and complete pardon to Paula and many others who were the victims of this horrific weaponization. Never again will religious persecution be allowed to happen in America. To all of the very special people marching today in this bitter cold, I know your hearts are warm and your spirits are strong because your mission is just very, very pure, to forge a society that welcomes and protects every child as a beautiful gift from the hand of our Creator. Thank you for never losing hope and never giving up. Thank you for your tremendous support. God bless you.
Well, half-hearted. So, well, actually, this is really interesting because I was just, Scott sent us this message that said Trump sneaks dangerous rights for fetuses into executive order. So I went to look that up, and from The Guardian here, Trump's executive order on gender uses language pointing to fetal personhood. So in Donald Trump's executive order, which claims that there are only two genders, it quietly incorporates tenets of fetal personhood, the legal doctrine pushed by the anti-abortion movement that life begins at conception and that embryos and fetuses therefore deserve full legal rights and protections. And here's where they're extrapolating that from, which I think is actually really neat. Female, this is actually in the executive order, where it says, I'll go ahead and make this big. Female means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the large reproductive cell, reads the order, which was issued just hours after Trump took office. And male means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the small reproductive cell. The words at conception have set off alarm bells among abortion rights supporters. If fully enacted, fetal personhood would have sweeping repercussions for all U.S. law. Not only would it outlaw abortion nationwide, but it could even lead governments to treat abortion as murder and treat people who undergo the procedure as murderers. I don't think it was a mistake. I don't think it was a coincidence. I think this was an intentional way to continue to normalize the idea that embryos are people, said Dana Sussman, the senior vice president of pregnancy justice. So that's a very interesting take. I like that a lot. As a matter of fact, I think that I'll be honest, I didn't, when we read the executive order the other night, I didn't notice that. And now having it read back, I think that's awesome.
Let's watch JD Vance's. I just retweeted it straight up. I'll have to look into it.
Well, that's what The Guardian said. I mean, you don't have to look into it. It just,
beautiful
it's
young
that's
men
the wording.
and women
but
who are eager to welcome them into the world and eager to raise them. And it is the task of our government to make it easier for young moms and dads to afford to have kids, to bring them into the world, and to welcome them as the blessings that we know they are here at the March for Life. Now, it should be easier to raise a family, easier to find a good job, easier to build a home, to raise that family in, easier to save up and purchase a good stroller, a crib for a nursery. We need a culture that celebrates life at all stages, one that recognizes and truly believes that the benchmark of national success is not our GDP number or our stock market, but whether people feel that they can raise thriving and healthy families in our country. And that brings me back to where we stand today. Earlier this week, President Donald J. Trump stood in the Capitol Rotunda and took the oath of office, becoming not just the 45th, but now the 47th President of the United States, and I know all of you helped. With the inauguration on Monday, our country faces the return of the most pro-family, most pro-life American president of our lifetimes.
At least he admitted it's only of our lifetimes.
Now, this is the man who delivered on his promise of ending Roe, giving us a monumental, earth-shattering decision in Dobbs. The man who appointed hundreds of pro-life judges dedicated to defending the constitutional liberties of all Americans. And the man who supported pro-family policies like doubling the child tax credit, which happened during his first administration and which we're going to do so much more on in the second administration. Now he's back, and we're going to do it again.
There you go. So that's JD Vance's
So that's
speech.
their big deal. They want to make it, quote unquote, easier for parents to have children. But what they're not doing is telling people how. How are you going to make it cheaper to raise children? Like, what's your deal?
Well,
right?
Lee and I were talking about this today. I'm like, this kind of sounds a little socialist, you know, and I love covering other nations that have like child tax credits for like if you have babies, but I don't really want that here. Okay. So like I kind of praise the other nations for doing it, but they're already socialists. And so I don't necessarily want that here. For us, I don't, but like Leah said, it is very expensive to have a child. Just literally to birth one, to have one in a hospital. It's very, very expensive.
Yeah, I really liked Lila Rose. There was a woman at the March for Life that was interviewed. She was a Democrat for a pro-life Democrat. And she is more of kind of like socialized, kind of a little bit socialized medicine as Democrat, but still pro-life. And she's like, birth should be free. And Lila Rose said that too. Birth should be free. You shouldn't go into debt to have a baby come out of your body. Like, it's such a natural thing that if there's anything that we can do, we have to make it free to have a baby. Like, no matter what. It's like we have to, there's ways to encourage volunteerism. Like, they limit.
So, okay, no, seriously,
They limit, like, the Amish have a birthing clinic, and it's illegal for us to go, like, against the law, not against their law.
So when we're talking about, I disagree with the statement that it should be free in the sense that our government should pay for it. But like, we should have such things that are encouraged. You know, I go back to the statement, Leah, what's the one that you always quote? As long as means and education should forever be encouraged.
Religion and morality be necessary to good government. Schools and means of education should forever be encouraged.
What that statement means is, in order to have a moral society, we need to have people that are raised according to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that doesn't mean that the government enacts law that says you have to be a Christian. It means that the government should encourage and not restrict Christian duties. And so when we're looking at, so let's look at maybe real quick, the issue 1 here in Ohio. One of the reasons why we were very much against issue 1 here in Ohio is because it pretty much gave any Joe off the street the right to perform an abortion on someone. Someone that had no medical background whatsoever could literally, without repercussions and did not need to have a license, could perform an abortion. That's what literally in Ohio, any Joe off the street can legally perform an abortion. There is zero restriction. I actually disagree with that, by the way. That being said, like Leah just said, we should have encouragement. It should be one of those things that the government says, seek out these birthing clinics, seek out these Amish midwives and things like that. Like, that doesn't cost anything for the government to take the restrictions off of those types of things. If you can take the restrictions off of performing an abortion, why can't you take the restrictions off of midwifery?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So,
all right. So
that's what I think.
Here's Trump. We're going to go back over here. Trump says he can tell if immigrants are bad based on their look. It's so funny. People think this is racist, but basically, if you've ever been at a 7-Eleven or pumping gas in the middle of the night, you can tell whether somebody's a bad dude. So that's what Trump is meaning, but the left is taking this out of context, and you can continue.
I think I got it. I think I found it. Oh, I just had it.
Just close that.
Oh, well, I wasn't even looking at what was on here. Okay. Hang on, it's coming.
Open borders with people pouring in, some of whom, I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble, could be trouble. Open.
That, like, they're making that statement racist. You could say that about a white person. You can look at a person and tell, hey, they might be trouble. It's ridiculous.
Right. Okay, so all these are, I got a ton to close out. We're going to get to North Carolina here. This is the
So Trump went today to North Carolina, which is so huge and so necessary. I'm really upset that he went today. He could have gone tomorrow, and then he could have been at the pro-life march. But I think specifically they didn't want him at the pro-life march. and this makes a better story.
So this is he held a press conference, and it was great because he had a lot of the actual people there going through things just speak, and we're going to play some of those. But this one is him signing an executive order, or he will, to slash all red tape to ensure rapid reconstruction of the roads.
Just the roads, though? Like, what about people's houses? Or is that only a state thing?
That's a good question.
I'm pleased to announce that under our leadership, the federal government will be surging housing solutions to the state that go beyond mere temporary hotel stays that ended up being very short term. The government wouldn't do it any longer, which is ridiculous.
Is that Franklin Graham?
We'll marshal all
That's
available
awesome.
resources and bring back potable water and make your water and infrastructure dramatically more reliable very quickly. Today, I'll also be signing an executive order slashing all red tape and bureaucratic barriers and permits to ensure the rapid reconstruction of the roads here in western North Carolina. We're going to go through a permitting process that's called no permitting, just get it done.
Oh, wow.
That's the way they built them many years ago, I guarantee you that, right? I'm pleased to announce...
Wow. All right, so I'm going to play this next video. This is Christine, a grandmother who watched her home float away during Hurricane Helene. She waited on the government help for 4 months. She got power 6 days ago. You're not going to see this part in the video, but you can know Operation Shelter is going to build her a new home.
Wow.
Water was so strong it bent these steel beams around that tree. But this is the destruction of my home, this right here.
What goes through your mind when you come back out here and see all your stuff like this?
It's horrible. This is family property. My father gave me this land.
What are the biggest frustrations with FEMA?
Just having to wait, sit and wait, and constantly going to check, and they're like, yes, you're in the system. Yes, we're working on it. Yes, we're trying this. Our little community is not, in my opinion, important to the nation.
We will begin the complete restoration.
The fact that President Trump talked about North Carolina in his inauguration speech,
was amazing.
and then it's coming in the first week. That's got to bring people some hope, even if they're not Trump fans, or even if they're not Republicans, if they just need help.
It really does.
There's no politics here. There's people who need help, and they don't care who brings it.
And it certainly does bring people hope, Nicole. I've heard that from all sorts of people here on the ground. I want to show you this video, though. Christine, who you just saw there, who lost her home. This is video that one of the neighbors took of her house actually floating away during the hurricane. The river there just took her entire house miles away, so she pretty much just lost everything. The stories are just so sad, and there's still so many of them 4 months later. Nicole?
All right, and Brian, what are people there saying about President Trump visiting that area tomorrow?
I think there's a lot of excitement. You know, they feel like they've been forgotten here for so long, and the fact that not only did he mention North Carolina in his inauguration speech, but that within the first week of his presidency, he's making it a priority to come here to Western North Carolina means a lot to them. And it's these nonprofits that have picked up the slack, we're told, helping people for all of these months. There's this one nonprofit that has done so much good work here. It's called Operation Shelter. And they were actually out there when we were talking to Christine and surprised her and told her that they are going to build her a new house. It was an amazing moment to witness. Look at this, Nicole.
We just want to help you rebuild because you've done every single thing right. You've done everything the government's asked of you, the city's asked, everything. And it's our turn to help you. Can I have a hug?
Yes.
So it's certainly an amazing day for her to find out she's going to get a new home. And again, these nonprofits and grassroots groups and just neighbors helping neighbors have really stepped up. And the hope now is that the federal government will step things up.
So
really
why didn't we send the Army Corps of Engineers earlier? That's
I'd love to know
crazy. And Trump says he's probably going to get rid of FEMA altogether. I'm going to repost this. You can go to my Twitter and just look to the last one that I did.
So we had Cam Hamilton speak at Bard's Fest, and Cam has been named acting director of FEMA, which is amazing. Yeah. And it would be cool to get him on the show. But I'm just wondering if he's going to, if that maybe that's why he's acting director, because Trump just wants to get rid of FEMA. If he gets rid of FEMA, Leah, what do you think that he'll do instead of FEMA?
He says it needs to go to the states, really.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
They cost a tremendous amount of money. It's very bureaucratic, and it's very slow. Other than that, we're very happy with them. Okay, and I think when there's a problem with the state, I think that problem should be taken care of by the state. That's what we have states for. They take care of problems. And a governor can handle something very quickly. You know, one of the things I've noticed, because I've been doing this for a while, and we had a pretty good FEMA, but I also noticed that when they come, they end up in arguments. They're fighting all the time over who does what. It's just not a good system. This system is so beautifully designed over 250 years approximately, you know, and we'll soon be celebrating the 250th year. It's going to be a very big celebration. But it's been designed, they cost a tremendous amount.
Okay, so you can go to the next one, close that one out, and just close that out. Okay. And I think the next one will be him saying that he thinks he'll get rid of FEMA altogether.
Will also be signed an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area. They've never been to the area, and they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away. And we pay directly. We pay a percentage to the state. But the state should fix it. I'll also be
All right. So the next one is, I was really shocked. Trump getting out of this SUV and how close he was and just in with the people.
Yeah, wow.
He and Melania just in there giving hugs and...
Like, this actually, it scares me. Mm. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think, he had to do that. Mm-hmm. He had to. You can't just... These people have been left with nothing. No one has come... I'm going to just mute this because there's not really a lot of sound there. No one has done anything for North Carolina.
Well, you can skip the next video and then go on to this lady. She's been in a hotel for months, and then Trump gets inaugurated, and she suddenly has an apartment.
Actually going to be able to get an apartment. I was just relieved. And it didn't really hit in until I walked in here and saw a kitchen table and a bed, and I was like, oh my God, you guys got me cups. I mean, it just had just enough to where I could bring in my own things. And then I started crying when I saw the bed because it's just very comforting. I'm like, oh, I get to stay here for a little while. So that was nice. And then we did hugs with the FEMA guys and Gordon, who helped me get in here. And then, the dogs somehow knew that this was where we were going to be for a minute and had a band of a time.
Stop it.
And I just sat in here and was just like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay for a minute. It's a great relief.
Wow. That's heartbreaking, man. It's heartwarming, but it's also heartbreaking that these people have been in.
What do you do?
In flux for so long.
So this is a video reminder of what happened, just to remind you.
A body like God's got me.
No, mute that unless there's talking.
No, it's just music.
So I was telling Leah in Patriot Gallery on the walk, was it just today? I still need to know, I have to know.
Whoa.
Why has there not been an estimated body count? Mm-hmm. Why do we not have an estimated number of dead and missing? Mm-hmm. There should be a roster mm-hmm. of dead and missing. And you know what? I can guarantee you there is. Mm. But why hasn't it been released? Mm-hmm. That's a conspiracy to me. Like there's something not right about that. If somebody else knows where there is, you know, a roster of dead and missing, or at least some sort of number, let me know. Because we've been looking at the fires in California, and from like the first moment that they started spreading, we have been watching how many people were dead. They know exactly. This is ridiculous.
So here's one young man
Still
telling part of
screen
his story.
Before the structural engineer even came out in order to get our flood payout, and to me that was not really acceptable.
Let's see.
Before the structural engineer even came out in order to get our flood payout, and to me that was not really acceptable.
Has the insurance company been responsive or not really?
Not so much. You know, again,
Give you the money they have to give you?
I'm hoping so, and we need some assistance with that. We reached out to an attorney.
What's the name of the insurance company?
North Carolina Farm Bureau.
It's true. I'm asking them.
Yep.
That's terrible.
That's what we're after here.
Are a lot
So
of people having that problem too, with the insurance companies, general, different insurance companies, and they're all difficult, or just?
So Trump's talking about the insurance companies.
I've heard different stories from others, and a lot before the.
So Josh Hawley says that he would like anybody to come forward with their story, and this right here is the little lady who ran a church, and just a mom and I listened to this earlier.
I'm a pastor
Look at
in
Trump
our
helping
church
with
right
the
down the road. We had only purchased in May, and it's a big church. We're a small congregation, and I had people say, "What are you going to do with this big building?" And I said, "Only God knows." And we had our dedication, and the storm came the next week. And the outpouring of people. My son brought the first load of supplies. And from there, I stayed there for about 3 months. I slept on the floor for about 3 weeks because the need was so great. The people were so devastated. And I said, I want to be here for them. And they were coming in just day and night. So there's really no need for me to go home. But we had people from Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, Indiana, Oklahoma, people from all over. We have not received any help, like from the government or anything. But I said, Lord, if you want us to do that, people.
So they came from
all over the states.
But FEMA did nothing.
It was
FEMA's the locals. Wasted time and money.
The locals and the people that knew us. And before the week was over, our church was so packed with supplies we couldn't even walk. Even in our sanctuary, it was up to the platform of things, and in our halls and in our rooms, and we're just now beginning to get a little straightened out. But somebody said, "How long are you going to be here?" I said, "I'm going to be here through the winter and even on, if possible," because when you meet people that's been through the struggle, I had a little lady come up and I said, "Can we do anything special for you?" And she said, "I don't want to be selfish, but said, could I have a cup of coffee?" And I handed her that coffee, and she stood there and tears just poured. She said, "You don't realize how important the little things. It's not the big things in life that we have, but it's the little things and knowing that God is our source. I don't look to man. I don't have to have a lot of things. I had trees, about 20 trees down in my yard, but that didn't really matter. It doesn't matter because the needs of the people is what I want to be there for. God is good. He's very good. And my daughter now, her house is really in bad shape. Now,
Oh, wow.
Now, when I go to my profile, scroll down from in the second post here, we're going to, just that one. This is her daughter telling her story now. It's an amazing story.
I live out in the Fairview area of North Carolina and near the Bat Cave, Lake Lure area. And our area was hit. It was hit really hard. I was home alone, and my husband had stayed in town because we take care of a little lady that's 98 years old, and she lives out in the woods by herself. And I said, just stay with her and make sure that she's okay. And I got up the next morning, and my first thought was, I want to go see what our road and bridge looks like. So as I was making it down to the road and the bridge, there was no road and bridge. And so, here we are, we're like at a little island, we can't access the main road or anything. And then the fire department came by the next day and said that they were evacuating me and my neighbor because a landslide was going to come. And they told me to get my stuff and get ready. And so while I was getting my stuff and getting ready, there was a knock at the door, so I thought it was the fireman. And I went to the door, and there stood my 21-year-old son. His name's Nathan, and he had drove as far as he could to get to me, but he hiked 5 miles, and it took him a really long time. And he got there, and he said, "Mom, grab a bag, we gotta go." And I said, "Son, there's no way I can hike out of here." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "No," he said, "we gotta go." So we started hiking out, and I seen one of my neighbors who, she had no clothes on. Her skin was like chunked up. It was just, she was blue. She had been in the waters, and where she had went or I don't know, but horrific is just all I can say. But then as me and my son hiked on out, we went through where this place, we call it Craigtown, but there were like a lot of family members there that passed away, like 11 of them, and there were people out everywhere looking for their loved ones, and there were dead bodies. My son's like, "Mom, you're gonna see things you don't want to see," and so anyway, we got through all that. But I stayed at our church in our sound booth. My husband and I, we just slept up in the sound booth for a couple of months because we didn't have power or anything for about 2 months out there. And then we went back. I've been fighting with FEMA since day one. Our community, there's like 32 homes. We don't have a road and a bridge. We're driving through our neighbor's property. I went to EMS and I said, "Look, my concern is if we have a fire or we have an emergency out here, you're not going to get to us. You can't get those big trucks up here." And I've called and called and called FEMA, and I said, this happened on September 27th. That's 4 months ago. Well, for us, today is still September 27th. We haven't had help. And so when I talk to FEMA, I'm explaining the road and the bridge, and they send me a letter that tells me to basically fix it and send in my receipts, and they'll refund me some money. I'm looking at a road and bridge that, honestly, the bridge itself is probably going to be $300,000, and the road could be close to that also, because the community has to have big boulders brought in. We're not a rich community. We can't fix it ourselves. It's just, and as far as like house repairs, I'm still pending. I can't get money from FEMA until I fix the road and bridge and send in my proof that it's fixed and everything. It's just, it's been a nightmare, and I totally feel like that we have been forgotten. If it had not been for our fellow American citizens who stepped up to help us, I don't know what we would have done. I have 5 neighbors around me who completely lost everything. I have damage to my house, and I don't feel entitled. I'm embarrassed to even say I need help, because and sometimes there's even that survivor's guilt is what they're calling it, but you feel guilty to even be alive sometimes. When you look around, you see your neighbors that are gone, and it's just, we need help. I wrote a letter to send to Congress. I don't understand what's going on. If we can't get FEMA help, then will you guys help us? Will you step up and be our fellow citizen? Will you step up and be our neighbor and send us something? Help us get our community back. I could go on. It's just I don't know, it's just heartbreaking. I appreciate you.
He hugs her. Oh, she goes to shake his hand and he just hugs her. That's powerful. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I know Leah wants to rapid fire through all this stuff because she's got so much more to give, or so much more to tell you guys. And it was funny at the start of the show when I said, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to mute my mic and let Leah do the whole show. And Sherry came back and she said, well, what they really mean is it's going to be a 4-hour show. Maybe. But we've been giving Trump a hard time, and it's not really giving him a hard time. We've been holding his feet to the fire and just telling the truth.
We have to tell the truth.
But
we tell both sides of the truth.
You can't. Trump is human.
Yeah.
I don't think Trump is a robot. I don't think that there's a Trump imposter. Some people do. That's really funny to me.
This is the Trump that everybody loves. This is the Trump that went around from rural community to rural community to rural community and hung out with a bunch of rednecks.
But what happens when Trump gets around those elite people is, see, we've been talking about this on Healing for the Fractured Soul.
Right.
You've got different sides of yourself.
Different personalities.
Elite New York, Manhattan Trump, Mar-a-Lago Trump is the one that's meeting with the Bill Gates and friends with the Elon Musks and all this, that, and the other.
Yes.
Whereas anointed Trump that we put in office, that we supported, that Leah and I were like #1 supporters for a really long time.
We put a sign out in our front yard that babies in the womb will vote for Trump for like way after 2020 into 2021. Like it
we
fell
put Stop
apart.
the Steal sign in our yard, like all the things. I hope to God that Trump continues to do this because it will cause him to maintain and stay in that mindset of it's a very manly thing when you get around these people. It's like, I want to help you. I can help you. Like, let me help you. Like, and to Trump's credit, and I will say this, and I've always said this, Trump has always had that kind of feel like he has always talked to the people that worked in his building. He's always taken time for them. He's always, tried to help where he could. And so I'm very hopeful for the people of North Carolina simply because Trump listened and had to listen to these stories. I can guarantee you stuff will get done because of that.
I'm just more hopeful for his soul, okay, in this, seeing that. But this goes to this particular story here. Corey Compantore, he was the firefighter that was shot behind Trump.
Yeah.
His widow says that Trump called her every day for 2 weeks.
After the rally shooting?
Yeah, the widow of Corey Compantore, the Pennsylvania man who was tragically murdered with a bullet meant for Trump, said that Trump called her almost every day for 2 weeks. Helen was joined by the couple's adult daughters, Ellison and Kaylee, to deliver heartfelt remarks about Corey at Saturday's pre-inauguration Patriot Awards, recalling the horrific moment when the 20-year-old gunman fatally shot her husband. We left as a family of 3. And that is just a very, you guys can go watch that from Breitbart. But the reason I wanted to kind of bring this up was, you look at them, they're kind of tattooed up people. They're meeting the president in ripped jeans, not normal, just some, your everyday regular people. And that was what made Trump so endearing to everybody. What is not endearing is Mr. Trumpy siding up to the Bill Gates of this world, who's Ellison, what's his name? The Stargate guys. So we're going to come back in a second and we're going to talk about his trip that he took to California. But in the midst of this, I want to
Sam Altman and Larry Ellison.
Okay, so I'm going to burst a bubble, and then we're going to go back into the bubble.
Okay.
Okay? So we're bursting the bubble here.
Okay.
But we're going to pray about this bubble. Okay? We want the bubble. The bubble's the Holy Spirit. The bubble's God. Okay? Right now, we're bursting the bubble because Trump had a press conference with AI proponents who want... Sam Altman, I guess, is with OpenAI. And this is also weird because you didn't listen to this. Mom and I go into these deep dive conspiracies with Tucker Carlson on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we listened to these long interviews, and it was a long interview with a whistleblower inside of OpenAI that was murdered. And the question is, did Sam Altman have him killed? Sam Altman also has a little sister who said that he repeatedly raped her entire life.
What?
Yes. Supposedly she had repressed memories come to the surface. She was cut out of the family's will and cut out of the family's life, and then she became a sex worker.
But her, and then she said that her memories resurfaced, but it would make sense if she went into the sex work. But he is very, very creepy. He's the young guy in this picture. That's the short young guy. The second one to the left, that's Sam Altman of OpenAI, who Tucker, from the interview I watched with the whistleblower's mother, who was describing this murder scene that they have ruled a suicide. In this her son's apartment. He had just gotten back from hiking with friends the day before. He was a whistleblower for OpenAI. And she doesn't really know what he was whistleblowing on, really, like exactly. Well, she's a mom, right? Like, but there was hair from a wig found in the apartment, and blood all over the apartment, including the bathroom but he was found like dead in another room.
Weird.
But he shot downwards in the head.
Sorry,
downwards.
No one shoots themselves that way.
And nobody shoots themselves, gets to the bathroom and comes back out.
Right.
And then just dies.
Yeah.
So, and there's blood everywhere.
And they ruled it a suicide.
Now, this was in San Diego or San Francisco. And forgive me if I got that wrong, but the point is the DA and everybody is all tech Silicon Valley. Where's Silicon Valley? San Fran or San Diego? Whichever one. They're all interconnected.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the crazy part. Now I want to play some of these videos here. This is Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei says the reason he is speaking out about superhuman AI being 2-3 years away is to warn people.
One reason why I'm now saying more in this interview and in other interviews that yes, I think it's likely, not certain, but likely that we actually are only 2 to 3 years away. Is I want to warn people. I want people to know about this. And, some of that is going to lead to people saying, well, what's your plan? What's your plan for economic disruption? What's your plan for the risks to the world? Some of these we've been working on for a long time. Others, because we're, a company of limited size, we're newer to working on. But it's really our conviction to try to have answers that are as good as we can on these questions. Now, some of it's just what's happening in the world. There's like a market equilibrium. There's only so much we can do, but we are really going to try our best to lead the way here, set an example, maximize the upsides, mitigate the downsides to the extent that's possible.
Wait, so we want to do something. We want to try to mitigate the downsides to the extent that it's possible, but you're not telling me that it's likely. You're just making me feel really scary. Now, this is, I think, which one do we want here? This is Larry Ellison here. I got Robert Malone. Interesting. Okay. So this is Larry Ellison talking about mRNA cancer vaccines.
Working on using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing is a cancer vaccine.
Sam Altman right there.
It's very interesting.
So how they're working together, it's called Project Stargate. Okay, they want to use Sam Altman and his OpenAI and just go data hunting from everybody. AI is just a computer program run by people. It cannot be, on its own. It just goes by the algorithm. Okay, it goes by the data. And they want to suck the data from you and suck the data from me, put it into their machines and do all kinds of stuff, all kinds of surveillance. But what he's touting here, I feel, is so far the most dangerous.
It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for.
Are we using the same definition for vaccine? Because it would be different if you're going to develop some sort of super you have a technology that's just going to go kill that particular tumor. But a vaccine, by definition, is to give you a little bit of something,
That's
so
what I
that
said in the car yesterday.
so that your body will create an immune response against it. But cancer is not. That's not how cancer develops.
Exactly.
Every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
I'm of the opinion that it's not the proper government role to pick winners and losers. It's not the proper government role to try to bankroll and participate actively as a partner. An initiative for development of a technology platform and capabilities for a market that's enormous. The cancer market is a multi-trillion-dollar global market. It doesn't need government incentives, unlike biodefense. So there's plenty of reason for these folks to try to do their best, and I hope they succeed. Who doesn't want a universal cancer vaccine? Who wouldn't want to have this miracle that Larry Ellison is predicting? It would be fantastic. I would be the first to applaud. However, having been in this space for my entire career and knowing what the setbacks and challenges are, let's gently say I wish them luck. This is not a
You can't wish them luck, Robert Malone, because luck is not at play here.
kind of dumb, outdated approach. Oh, we're just going to grab the cells. Yeah, that's been known for years, circulating tumor cells. We're going to grab those. Well, that's a problem. That's actually not so easy to do by flow cytometry even. But we're going to grab them and we're going to sequence them. And then within 48 hours, we're going to apply a magic AI that's going to generate a cancer vaccine candidate. And then we can make that as an RNA. That is just either a egregiously pitched lie, or somebody is advising Larry Ellison that doesn't know what the heck.
Well, this sounds like Elizabeth Holmes 2.0.
It has that same flavor of somebody pitching influential, high net worth individuals with a concept that is really smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, but I think it's a little worse.
Shocked, confused, and dismayed that MAGA influencers are actually promoting Project Stargate instead of calling it out for what it is, which is a co-opt of the entire MAGA movement by mega corporations to install a surveillance state. It is quite frankly a dystopian nightmare scenario, and people don't want to call it out because they don't want to lose brownie points within their party. Reality is the same people who profited off of COVID and the pandemic and by selling you the cure, the solution after they made you sick. The same exact thing is now happening, this time with cancer. Curing cancer. Somehow they can find a cure for cancer, but they can't tell you what causes cancer. They can't do any,
I appreciate that. That's well said. And then here he talks about that AI surveillance will be good for keeping
citizens on their best behavior.
The police will be on their best behavior, because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras, it's AI that's looking at the camera. No, you can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, that's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off, it's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times, and the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person.
You know
whether
what?
It's the sheriff or
We don't
the
need it.
chief or whomever
Well-
we need to take control of the situation. We have, same thing. We have drones. We just, if there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop. A drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple.
So, Leah, I mean, you can say all you want, like, no, I'm not for it. Anybody that's for it, just an idiot or whatever. But like, that's you being really out of touch with the mindset of most people, because most people are going to listen to Larry Ellison, and even if Trump is standing next to him, and if they were to hear him say that, or they hear him say what he said about cancer, they're going to go, wow, yeah. Like, no, I'm dead serious.
But no, but I mean, but here's the thing though. Like, what I'm really glad about is that most people are pushing back on it.
Right. No, I'm glad about that too. But what I'm saying is the devil always comes to you with a lie that sounds good.
Yeah,
it sounds like a good idea. Like, why wouldn't you want, right? Like, so many mega people, I can imagine them going, well, at least if we can monitor all of the police officers, then that's going to prove to the left that the police officers aren't doing anything wrong. Or, we want to keep citizens on their best behavior. Well, now you're China. And it sounds like such a great idea, because
and
you're
even
thinking
the police officers, their actions being watched by AI.
This is what I hear so many times from people. I don't mind being surveilled because I don't do anything wrong, right? Or you hear from the people that want to do the surveillance, you don't have anything to fear if you're not doing anything wrong, right? And so I think that it's worth at least mentioning when we listen to these people that it sounds like a great promise. Like, I can see a lot of people swallowing this horse because they're like, yeah, well, then we have a utopian society because nobody can do anything bad and nobody can do anything wrong. And I don't really see how it's such a bad idea to have technology stopping cancer inside of us. Like, so I think, yes, you're right. Most mega truthers are going to go full stop. This is all a bad idea. But at the same time, there's a whole host of other mega people that don't see anything wrong with OpenAI. They don't see anything wrong with your blood being taken and now you're signed up to surveillance. They don't see anything wrong with nanotechnology inside of your blood system, because it's like, this is where we're at. We've been pre-predicted watching movies that at some point we were going to be here. And now I think most people are just kind of throwing up their hands like, well, now we're here. And, Minority Report with Tom Cruise is a really great, source for this predictive programming, where like they tell us that they're going to do this. Now, in Minority Report, you end up with the movie and you realize that it's all a bad idea. But at the same time, it's their way of trying to get us ready for what they've always wanted to do.
Desensitization. Well, let's go over here to Nicole Shanahan with Megyn Kelly. And she says that we could have an extinction level event if people aren't careful with this stuff.
People heard that and they were really up in arms, especially folks who understand that what we need for the mRNA platform right now is a moratorium. It's not ready for human use. Many people will explain why. One of the major reasons is that it delivers an inconsistent result in individuals. So you could be deploying the mRNA as it was, I think it was 700 million Americans received it. And
700 million doses.
Doses went out. Yeah, sorry, 700 million doses. Thank you for that correction. And amongst those, the estimate is around 5% doesn't deliver as expected into the host, and you don't know what dose or what individuals that's going to happen in. So many of the turbo cancers, we're seeing many of the blood clots. I sent you and your team a paper about how it's showing up in ovaries long after the date, how the shedding can even impact the shedding from an individual who received the vaccine can impact someone who didn't take the vaccine. And now there's a study showing that women who didn't take the vaccine but were around someone who was shedding after receiving the vaccine were having irregular menstrual cycles because it was showing up in their ovaries. So one of the things that I think is really important, and this is an argument for issues that I know this group of people cares about. The Stargate people, they care about the economy, they care about competitiveness, they care about the population. And in order for our population to grow, to be strong, to be fully able-bodied, and for our economy, our human economy to thrive, we do need a moratorium on the mRNA for the time being. And I understand how many people are so impressed by this, especially computer engineers. They think that you can program the human body as you program an AI system, as you program a computer system. And the trouble with that mentality is that nature, and we don't even have models and the science around how nature works and how our bodies interact with nature. There's a element to it that when you interject something like the mRNA vaccine, there's a huge amount of stochastic randomness that can occur. And so these, if you see some of the uproar on X today about that, that's individuals who understand this pretty deeply, and they're very concerned. And yes, there's something very, very impressive about the mRNA platform. I mean, how wonderful if it worked 100% of the time and with a great deal of reliability. But we do need a moratorium on it for the time being.
Until it's not Russian roulette to take it.
Exactly. And as I said, AI is a computer system. Human health is not. It is not. And so there are some good uses of AI in the world. And for those, I'm always happy to be a resource on. For instance, I was just with a farmer and we were coming up with a farm plan. And I was like, man, I would love, if there's an AI that could help me model the phases of deploying a new pasture, raised chicken operation on this lot, on this very specific lot here in California. Wouldn't that be great? Because farmers are really struggling financially, and that's actually a really great economic use of AI. So there's so many. I could think about about 250 things that could have been shared in yesterday's conference that are really excellent uses of AI, and I didn't really hear them. Instead, I heard a few that were
so that's the point,
kind of, out there. And
that's the point. This stuff is not designed to help you create good pasture rotation. They're not, that's, the algorithm may give you something, but the people behind it are satanically led, demonically led. And if there is any byproduct of good, it's like the cryptocurrencies. Fiat dollar's bad, crypto's worse, right? So the same thing with the internet and Google search. And then suddenly you're at the AI, which is now being touted as like another superhuman,
Well, using the Google search is an excellent comparison, because we all got into, we've literally created a word, Google. It's a verb and it's a noun, right? But it's most often used as a verb to mean to search on the internet for something, right? And we all followed, right? Because this seems so great. Like, look at this. If we just Google something, or, when you look at YouTube, it all seems so great until who's in control of it. And now they're curating the results. And now you can't, it's not relied upon for the one thing that we thought that we could rely upon it for. And I would say, this is where I think the issue that I take with the Mayha people being so blind, like a Nicole Shanahan. She's a Christian. She's an amazing a woman of God, and I love her to death, and I think she's awesome.
Yeah.
But when you compromise and you say, but I'm all okay for AI uses here, it would be great to use it here, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. So Trump, it's interesting. He stood next to Fauci kind of the same way as Mom was saying, like, when Fauci was putting the vaccine forth. And then Biden has, will you bring this one up? Biden has pardoned preemptively Fauci, but I don't think legally that you can do that. But this guy here, Andrew Schultz, I think he in a humorous way really wants to know.
So is this clip bleeped out? Because if it's not, I cannot play it on the show.
Did they have a lot of swear words in this
The
one?
whole time he says, what the F is in my arm? What the F is in my arm?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he keeps saying, what the F is in my arm?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a bunch of curse words, but we can try. As soon as we hear the first one, we'll stop it.
But Fauci took the pardon. Fauci could say, I don't want the pardon. I don't think I did anything wrong.
Could, like, hit the
but he
delete
took the
button. I can
pardon.
try.
I don't blame anybody for taking the pardon.
I do, because now you're guilty. Because there are a lot of people that were on the January 6th committee that were offered a pardon, and they said no. They're like, I did my job. I was supposed to investigate this. I did what I was supposed to do. I don't want the pardon.
If you're Fauci, you're not taking a pardon?
What's in my arm, yo?
What's in your arm, not mine.
That's what I'm saying. What's in my arm, yo? Why are you taking a pardon? What's in my arm, yo?
I don't care.
What's in my arm?
I'm taking that part. I don't give a fuck.
If put some shit in my get pardon. You told me I need to put some shit in my arm. Now you can't go get pardoned. You gotta hold the weight of that decision. That's your job. What's in my arm, yo?
I mean,
what's about to come out?
You ain't wrong. Like it looks a suspect. It definitely looks crazy suspect. Yeah.
I think it's because they lied about knowing it was a man-made virus, knowing it came from China, whatever. They were lying about the origins of it. That's what my first thought. Could be the vaccine too, but I tend to think they covered up when they knew where it was from.
Yeah. You lie about one thing, you lie about the other. All of a sudden, you got to keep lying to keep up the lie. There's a lot of lies going on. What's in my arm, man? What is inside my arm?
But you good.
But it's not.
What's in my arm? But
it's not his arm. He knows it's in the rest of his body.
Yeah.
Right. So if you go over here to the left, Trump has rescinded Fauci and John Bolton's security.
I think I'm all over the place because a lot of these need to be closed.
Come to that.
But you can't have a security detail for the rest of your life because you worked for government. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Would you feel partially responsible if something would have happened to, say, Dr. Fauci
No.
or John Bolton?
No. You know, they all made a lot of money. They can hire their own security, too. All the people you're talking about, they can go out. I can give them some good numbers of very good security people. They can hire their own security. They all made a lot of money. Fauci made a lot of money. They all did. So if they, felt that strongly, I think that certainly I would not take responsibility.
So Fauci's security detail is gone. He's made millions of dollars off of all of us, laughing the whole way. And Trump, do you think it's vindictive?
I don't know. I don't think that Trump can be vindictive because Trump touts everything about the vaccine because of what Fauci did. So, like, you don't get to, on the one hand, say we did the greatest thing with Project Warp Speed and then throw Fauci under the bus. Like, you don't get to do that. You have to throw it all out.
Well, he is throwing Fauci.
But he's not throwing the Warp Speed out.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, okay, so if you throw out Fauci, then what else needs to go with Fauci? The jab.
The jab. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And your whole Project Warp Speed has to go out with it. Like, why are you so, like, you're saying Fauci made a ton of money. Well, he made a ton of money doing what? Selling your jab that you're super excited about.
He also revoked the security clearance of Mike Pompeo. Now, remember, he loved Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo is a CIA guy who you play this for the people. Remember, this is Mike Pompeo here, I believe, with like Ukrainians or whatever. No, not Ukrainians. What flag is that?
This is I don't know what this is from. I mean, we can try and make it a little really obnoxiously loud.
Yeah, just mute it. So here you have Mike Pompeo, and this is like one of these embarrassing things, right? Mike Pompeo was sent as a CIA asset with Nikki Haley to control Trump. And he's this big, laughable, lovable guy. And we've played videos of him over and over again saying, it's my job to lie. I literally get paid to lie, to deceive people. That's what I do. And he came in, and he was this happy-go-lucky guy.
Clearly with a bunch of Jewish people.
Is it
Jewish?
No,
they're wearing
Jewish.
yarmulkes. Who else wears a yarmulke?
I don't know what that flag is. It's not Jewish. So Mike Pompeo's security clearance has been taken away.
Good.
And if you scroll down.
Oh, so Trump was interviewed by Hannity, and it was apparently a little bit hostile.
Yeah.
Which I'm really surprised about, to be honest.
It's really hard to say that they shouldn't have to go through it also. It is very hard to say that. I went through 4 years of hell by this scum that we had to deal with. I went through 4 years of hell. I spent millions of dollars in legal fees, and I won. But I did it the hard way. It's really hard to say that they shouldn't have to go through it also.
Okay.
It is very hard to say.
You can stop. So we'll see. You know, he's getting a little. Anything he's going to get vengeful?
I don't think so, but that would be. I just don't think so.
So before we go to California today in the news conference there, we're taking a commercial break, and this is brought to you by Molly Gawler, a wonderful liberal woman, and she has a new song for us.
Black and indigenous people of color, black and indigenous people of color, lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Asian American Pacific Islander. Asian American Pacific Islander. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. We all have a place in this world. We all have a place in this world.
White people don't, obviously, because she didn't mention them.
So, like, I want to have words about that, but I don't. Like, I don't have anything to say about that. Like, I got nothing. And I wish I did. It's just, I think she spoke for herself. She sang for herself. I would like to address musically speaking. I'm not saying she can't sing, because I think that she can. I think she sings really well. But writing a song where your entire song is that you write one line and then you repeat that line, that is not proper music composition. I'm just saying. That's all.
We're also going to cleanse the palate here. I want to watch you guys do this. I saw it, so you get to see it. I want you to see them build this house out of wood.
I want to go to it, but I don't know where to go.
It's all the way to the left.
Okay.
We're going to do that one on Sunday. Okay.
What in the wide, wide world of sports?
Now remember,
it's like Lincoln Logs.
It's like they're using traditional tools like big mallets and stuff, but then they also do use some.
But see, I'm down with that. It's the joinery that's so important. Like, you can't do this kind of thing. Like, timber framing is, I mean, it's next level.
I don't think you could do this without hoists. Could you?
No, but like, and you know what? It looks like they're putting insulation in there. I think that's awesome.
Wow.
They're insulating like each.
Like, if this goes wrong at any given moment, you're just dead. Whoa! Whoa! And that's the completed. That's the completed house.
That looks like that doesn't look completed. It looks like a
It's a mansion.
No, this isn't. It looks like a concept. That's a concept.
Okay, well, I don't know why they would end it like that. They're obviously building something.
I know, but it's not done yet. But that's the concept. That's a concept. That's not an actual picture.
Okay.
You can tell. And it's a cool concept, and I think it'll be really great when it's done.
Okay.
But that's not an actual picture.
Calling them out, not a picture.
I love it, though. It's awesome.
Okay, so we're going to go back to my Twitter. We're going to go, because this just happened. So these are just tweeted out. This is Donald Trump at a news conference, press conference here with Mayor Bass, and I think the gloves came off.
This is the Pacific Palisades.
This is the fire.
The number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You
and
should let them do it, because by the time you hire contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
The people are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can.
There's not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site will be, it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, I mean, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important thing is for people to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit, and the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Last night.
And that was last night.
On that. Right.
Mr. President, we're going to be together next week, and
Okay, so there's a couple more here. I do, if you got to refresh me here. I guess Trump is schooling the Representative Brad Sherman on the insurance. Oh, scroll down one more. We'll come back up to that one.
Mr. President, without your help, they're only going to get $43,000 from the federal government, even if they have a half
$1 million you did something, Brad, where every insurance company in the country left California. That's why you have no insurance, because you made it so impossible. People that think like you made it so impossible. And you know,
Brad, me,
every
Mr.
insurance
President,
company.
I don't know what
I'll
you
tell
know
you this,
about my thinking.
I've never seen a state where almost nobody has insurance. And I said, what happened? And they said like 6 months ago they all left, and 2 years ago they had different quadrants, but they left. And you have very little insurance here. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
We had, Mr. President.
In the country left California. That's why you have no insurance, because you made it so impossible. People that think like you made it so impossible. And you're supposed to get fire insurance, and the insurance company goes, you don't have any water in your fire hydrants. So it's a tough situation. I'm not a big fan of insurance companies. I get that.
They're pulling out of Florida
Brad,
as well.
you lost your insurance company 6 months ago because the state wouldn't give them what they had to have.
Wow, that's pretty intense. If you scroll up,
without your,
it looks like Melania is. Melania spoke to a woman in California and consoles her in her native language.
Chris, Mia.
Dobar dan. Dobar dan, kako ste? Hvala što ste došli. Ja sam došla kad sam bila 10 godina. Da. Hvala puno. Dobro. Bili smo bolje.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, so if you go and refresh the page, this is Trump meeting with the firefighters who are very happy to see Donald Trump.
Oh, I can only imagine. You know, those firefighters were pulling people's like grandfather clocks out of these houses because they couldn't fight the fire. Like firefighters need something to do. And in order to fight fires, they have to have water. And because there was no water in the fire hydrants, what these firefighters were doing is they were risking their lives being in the fire, just saving people's stuff.
Dude.
For the podcast listeners, they're just going and they're shaking every hand of all the different firefighters there. So that's awesome.
If you refresh again, you're going to see
Trump says we won't let you down, fellas.
So here's Trump signing an executive order to release water flow from the north.
I'm signing an executive order to open up the pumps and valves in the north. We want to get that water pouring down here as quickly as possible and let hundreds of millions of gallons of water flow down into Southern California. And that'll be a big benefit to you. Look, if you don't want it, you're going to tell me, but I can't imagine it. I tell you who does like it is the fire department. When I said that, they were very happy with that. They didn't mind hearing that.
Melania,
I'm signing
whenever Melania nods her head, I watch. So refresh it one more time, but it's the last one we're going to play. Donald Trump is actually making aid contingent upon voter ID and letting the water flow.
Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy.
I want to see two things in Los Angeles. Voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote. And I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state. Those are the two things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and dry. You know, they have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa, which is about as good as there is anywhere on earth. The problem is it's artificial because they artificially stop the water from going onto the land. So I want two things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it. Right now, you don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting, but I just want voter ID as a start, and I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Thank you very much. I'll see you.
Let me read a couple of comments, Leah, while you pull up the next video. Ovi says, smokescreen, we rebuild whole countries but can't rebuild our own. Jim says she's lying. She doesn't want individuals taking care of their own house or neighborhood. Sherry says they want to prolong things as much as possible. Ridiculous. Amy says they want to stall with permits so people just cave and sell to Gavin's cronies. And James says this woman is a perfect example of why California is where it is now.
Speaking of California, I saw this story and I just kind of wanted to just share it. It was on Breitbart today, and it was just kind of on animal welfare. More than 50 dead horses at this woman's property in California.
So someone was asking Leah if we have an update on that one specific farm that we showed.
Which one?
About rescuing the horses way back when we were covering North Carolina the first time.
Oh gosh, I don't.
But not as large of a quantity as it has, unfortunately, this time.
The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office started their investigation into Jan Johnson on August 29th of 2024. Deputies got a call about suspected animal neglect. When animal service officers tried to contact Johnson, they say she made threats to harm them. The DA's office issued a warrant for Johnson's arrest. Several months later, officers responded to a call for a rooster fight on January 4th on one of Johnson's properties. That investigation led to a search warrant for her home and other properties. And on January 22nd, Johnson was arrested.
Jan Johnson was booked for the following charges: cruelty to an animal, threatening a public official, criminal threats, and possession of a short barrel rifle or shotgun.
The multi-day operation led officers to find more than 50 dead horses on Johnson's property. But that is not all.
When we first got there, there were 4 horses and 1 bull euthanized. By last night, there was 26. There was 9 horses and 1 donkey that had to be euthanized.
And that was because they were so malnourished?
Yeah, that there was no hope for them, unfortunately.
Johnson has a previous criminal history.
We've had multiple contacts with her, and she has been arrested previously for elder abuse.
More than 70 horses found at the properties are now in the care of the Oakdale Equine Rescue.
As far as their body condition scores, they vary anywhere from not too bad to a 1 on the Henneke score, which is pretty much starving.
It shared these videos of the animals now.
Their feet are horrendous, so horses have to have their feet trimmed generally every 6 to 8 weeks. by a farrier. They have not seen a farrier in a while.
Animal services officers and veterinarians are still evaluating additional horses and other animals due to the size of the property. In Clements, I'm Monica.
So that was something crazy out of California this week, but we're going to do a little commercial break because I saw this in my thread, and that human was harming animals, but they're good humans. So here is a swan hugging her rescuer. Have you guys seen this guy? This is I don't know if this is
a cheetah comes up and rubs up against the photographer. No, I've not seen that.
Well, there's one guy that I don't think that he's one of the people that actually.
I'm not petting a cheetah.
And then here, oh my gosh, look at this.
The horse
just lays down.
Like, hey, just pet me and love me. That's so sweet. Look at that. What is this, a monkey?
A baby chimp coming to his rescuer.
Oh my gosh. That's adorable.
Oh my gosh.
That's
so get out the way.
Now we've got an
this
elephant.
elephant knew his caregiver was sick and went into the clinic to visit her.
Oh my gosh. That's adorable.
It's kind of hard to.
So elephants get me. Like, I don't know if I've ever told. I know I've said this on the show before, but like, out of all the animals on planet Earth, like, elephants are so intelligent. Like, I've seen them thank humans for like rescuing their young. It just totally gets me. What is this? What is wrong with
This guy, he constantly plays with the lions.
That's dumb.
No, he's friends with the lions.
I don't care. It's dumb.
Don't even try that.
Okay, no. I don't care. Like, it seems like everybody would love to cuddle a big cat, but like, you don't want to cuddle a big cat. Like, even if they didn't have any teeth or any claws.
I know.
Like, I'm not doing it. Like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, this is a Steve Irwin type thing where, like, at some point he's not gonna be alive anymore. Something's gonna happen. Oh my gosh. I don't trust it.
I don't trust it either.
What is
the
this
little
lady?
penguin? She got rescued, but then she looks back and is like, "Should I go?
Stop it."
Are you sure?
Leah,
But
don't
I
do
could come
that.
back with you.
Hang on, wait. Where's the penguin gonna go?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see ya. Bye,
Leah,
Mom.
no.
Water.
No. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I'm not going in that water. No. This is a little tiny little thing.
I know.
Hang on. No, don't do it. Don't get in that
How
ocean.
does he know to follow?
Where does he know? How's he gonna find his family? I don't know. What is baby polar bears?
Yeah, grew up in a foster care, and then they became friends.
No, see, I don't trust this bear, lion, cheetah stuff.
Yeah.
Penguin, fine. That's cute though.
Well, I think it's Russian. Like,
Yeah,
they do bears.
They do bears over there in Russia. She's getting all kind of bear kisses. That bear gonna bite her face off. This bear, no.
I don't
Because that
trust
bear
it.
all of a
I
sudden
don't
decides, I
trust
just
it.
want to. What is this little
Adopting
cheetah?
and raising a baby cheetah.
Not knowing what.
See, I don't know. You see the videos, you watch them, and then,
I don't think it's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea either.
I don't think you should do it. Oh my gosh. We'll just do a couple more.
This lady's singing to this cow.
Yeah.
And the cow's gonna lay down. Oh, that's adorable. See, the podcast listeners, they miss out on all this stuff. She's kissing
The cow.
Little
This
birdie.
little bird. It says, if you love somebody, they'll come back.
if they're yours.
Oh, that's so
Can't
cute.
set that one free.
Aw.
Oh,
What
this
in
is
the
a puma. It's a
world?
puma.
Oh my gosh.
Raised a puma.
No, she didn't.
With her, yeah.
I'm not. No,
Whoa.
guys, I'm telling you something. It's such a bad idea.
You know, I've had just
wanna die.
regular
I don't wanna die.
cats.
I don't wanna
Okay,
die.
that's enough of that. I've had regular cats scratch me, like not on purpose. But again, I have to spoil a good moment with a bad moment.
No, man.
I know. I just kind of get you guys. You can bring this one up now. Thomas Massey shared this out. Today, Trump's USDA nominee, Brooke Rollins, told Congress that she will force states to allow the sale of pork from crated pigs. States banned these sales to stop animal cruelty. The conservative Supreme Court upheld those bans. Only the pork industry lobbyists want this change. These pigs literally grow up in cages. And I'm so angry, I don't even want to think about it. I'm just mad. We could have had Thomas Massey. Instead, we have this freak.
Okay, so there are some things in this world that like, and maybe you guys like, you're just like, I'm never watching Resistance Chicks again. If you have a visceral reaction to something like that, like I just did inside of me, like because you get to this place of anger and then helplessness.
Well, I'm going to play something while you speak that's not helpless. This is the way pigs should be raised.
We're not screen sharing yet.
Okay.
And so I want to encourage you guys that in the power of God, we can and we will put a stop to these things.
Hey, girls. Come on.
This is the way pigs should be raised. And there's no reason, there is absolutely no reason why all pigs cannot be raised this way. Is there, Michelle?
No.
Hey, girl. Group photo.
Even in the mud.
Say cheese.
Let's say bacon.
That's so cute.
So we raise ours not on pasture like this, but we bring the pasture to them. There's a way to allow, but this is the way. This is the way. And this is where the Maha movement was supposed to go. And the Maha movement was promised two key things. They were promised the USDA and the HHS. That was the deal made. And when we talk about Donald Trump, that's the deal. He's putting in a lobbyist for big, giant corporations. And let's just pray because I'm too angry.
Me too.
I'm angry. God, I pray that she's not confirmed.
Amen.
I pray that somehow you put in somebody. Wait, no. I demand.
Amen.
We are not going to be cruel to animals in the United States.
Amen.
We are not going to eat cruelly raised animals in the United States. Every single confinement factory is going to close down in the United States. Amish farmers are going to be free to farm. And all these other farmers that have been forced to consolidate and to grow bigger, better, faster, and to feed their pigs GMO corn and antibiotics. I just rebuke it right now in the name of Jesus. I rebuke factory farming right now in the name of Jesus. I rebuke confinement farming in Jesus' name. And I release right now the ability for everybody to grow their own food, to know their farmer, to know each other, to buy and sell and trade the righteous way. And this corrupt system, this AI system, this computer system, this technology system is coming down in the name of Jesus. And listen, you guys don't have answers, but God has answers. Christians, you have answers. You have to call those things that be not as though they were. You have to speak forth light. We are going to get rid of the USDA. You do not exist. You do not function as anything. Right now, in the name of Jesus, we will not be cruel to animals in the United States. We will raise animals humanely and godly and holy in connection with the Holy Spirit and creation. Angels, go forth right now in Jesus' name and make it so.
Amen.
And expose this nasty lady, and may she
rot in hell.
I'm going to say rot in hell. Rot in hell, lady. Rot in hell.
Let's go to good news.
You know what?
You probably weren't even going to do this story, but oh no, that's why I was like, I just read this headline.
Charlie Sheen's OnlyFans daughter getting saved.
Charlie Sheen's daughter Lola baptized after hitting rock bottom. Jesus is the only reason why I'm here today. Lola Sheen, the youngest daughter of Hollywood stars Charlie Sheen and Denise Richards, has accepted Jesus as her savior and been baptized after hitting rock bottom in her life. She's 19. She told her followers and friends on Instagram that her religious beliefs have made a major difference in her life after she fell into depression in recent years. She says, my testimony, when I was in my deepest depression, there was a moment where I realized I hit rock bottom. I felt so lost and hopeless and was just doing my best to make it to the next day. I just accepted my life was going to be that way forever. And I thought I would never genuinely laugh again. Here's a picture of her getting baptized. There's her testimony. Until I met not only my savior, but my best friend, Jesus. I can't really explain it other than it was supernatural. But Jesus met me exactly where I was, and he forever became my son. Lola, whose sister Sammy 20 is famous on her X-rated OnlyFans video, not to mention her troubled father, went on saying, I began to trust Jesus with my life when he chose me when no one else did and loved me when I didn't feel worthy of love. He gave me light when I couldn't find my own, and he rescued me from the darkness.
You can scroll down and see it.
There is no distance.
You can't fast forward the Instagrams, and I'm worried about that song.
We should just do I like doing YouTube, but
do every video that you have that has the song at the end.
It's I don't know. I miss being on YouTube's great, but but Rumble and Facebook don't really
censor. Well, Facebook does sometimes, but not as bad as YouTube. But I can't fast forward through the song anyway. It doesn't really matter. I couldn't fast forward this video regardless, because her whole baptism.
Here she goes.
Hey, that's awesome. That's amazing. No, this is truly amazing, especially when you see Charlie Sheen's life and the troubles that he's had with addiction and so many women in his life, and for her to have been on,
Well, and we were just discussing this, that fathers bring in the perversion, which makes the girls do the OnlyFans.
Yeah, amen.
Bevelyn Betty says this, the woman, the black lady who was freed from prison, the pro-life lady. Hey guys, I'm just trying to get settled with my family. My daughter is so happy to see me, and she will not let me leave her sight. On top of that, me and my husband are exhausted. We are spiritually and emotionally exhausted. We did 3 months of straight emotional warfare and trying to stay strong together. Now we are together, and all we can do is just rest and hold on to each other. So please just be patient with me while I take this weekend and spend time with my family and loved ones. So
that's amazing. Praise God for her.
Do your thing, girl. Do your thing. I want to play here Ron DeSantis at the March for Life. Florida is where woke goes to die and babies go to live.
Here is what you should be asking your elected officials to do on the issue of the sanctity of life. Show courage in defense of the unborn. That's what we need from the people that we elect to the office. The sanctity of life does not depend on poll results. It doesn't depend on which way the wind is blowing. It's an enduring truth, and it represents the foundation of our society, which in our original founding document, which we will celebrate next year, the Declaration of Independence, declared that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, beginning with the right to life itself.
Amen. Well said, DeSantis. Love that.
Wow.
That's really good.
I love that so much. Praise God. All right. So I want to play over here. Speaking of great things, I want to just remind you guys of what we were talking about with the Ohio State, our state, revival on their football team. And this was tweeted out, I love, by the actual NFL Rookie Watch. And they tweeted this out with saying, what God did to this Ohio State football team might be the most powerful thing you'll ever see. Many times people say they haven't seen a miracle. Here's your miracle. God used college football and this Ohio State team to do amazing things in his kingdom. Winning a national championship was arguably just the least of it. He can use you too. So I did not know the NFL Rookie Watch was Christian. They've got 162,000 followers. It's just football, but they're Christian.
Back in January, I received this vision, if you will. It wasn't like a vision that was visual, but it was more written on my heart. And I saw this idea of guys on my team lined up to get baptized. I immediately went to my boy Trey. I said, Trey, I got this vision. I see God's gonna bring guys on my team to get baptized. And so then February came around, March came around, April came around, and I'm trying to get guys to come to church. They can testify. We got a group chat I'm sending to every week. Come to church, come to church. God's trying to do something. And it was kind of hard to get them to come to church. And so what started to creep into my heart was a little bit of discouragement. Am I not witnessing good enough to my teammates? Am I not evangelizing good enough? We do a Bible study once a week. Am I not able to share the truth good enough? And God don't move on our time. God gonna move on his time. Today, you guys are getting ready to witness that dream to come to fruition. And I just want to make this aware so everyone in Columbus, the community knows in Columbus what's going on.
Oh, I love
Something's going on this football team. That Christ is working on this football team.
I'm just gonna stop it in the middle. There, that is so phenomenal. Like, praise God for this guy, like witnessing to his teammates. And I love that that statement. Like, God doesn't always move on our time, right?
Yeah. So speaking of that, I think this ties really well in with Ron DeSantis and what he just said. Conservatives have been towing the line with Trump rather than holding him to the line like Christians should do. And this What Do You Meme put out a fantastic video on conservatives are losing the plot.
Well, it's official. What we once knew about conservative Christian politics has come to an end. And for proof of this, all you need to do is take a look at the recent Benny Johnson interview with Andrew Tate and why it's causing so much division in the conservative party. So for context, let's just be clear about where we came from. Political conservative Christianity was traditionally unified by things like conventional family structures, integrity, and biblical faithfulness. But in the last decade, there's been a drastic shift from being united by conservative and biblical principles to contrarian figures who don't share Christian or conservative values at all. And all of this is why Benny Johnson's interview with Tate was the final straw for so many Christian conservatives, primarily because of how Benny engaged with Tate during their interview.
And someone who I think will deliver absolute profound takes on what is happening right now, because he himself has been the victim of state-sponsored incarceration, lawfare, and abuses of justice for political reasons. Andrew Tate, top Jeev from the podium.
From the podium. And I only pray that Republicans can grow a backbone,
He's so angry. He's on
stop
steroids.
crying their eyes out over old videos I made, and understand sometimes you have to be a bad guy to do the right thing, like Batman. And we need to clean the swamp, lock these people up, teach them all a lesson.
Now, Benny calling Tate a victim after Tate bragged for years about the things that he's been arrested for is wild. And Donald Trump's lawyer even jumped in to say this.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
And just as a rule of thumb, when you're interviewing someone who's being investigated for crimes as serious as Tate's, you should probably be pushing back pretty hard and press him on the facts surrounding his charges. But Benny and Trump's lawyer didn't, and this isn't the first time that leading conservative figures have taken this approach of Tate. I mean, we can all remember how Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson's interviews with Tate went as well. To say that Benny, Candace, and Tucker gave Tate softball interviews would be a massive understatement. They practically went out of their way to help him deceive the public about his charges. So as you can imagine, those who believe that the conservative party should be united by conservative values have said things like this.
He rips off thousands of people with his scam Hustlers University. He preaches the virtue of treating women in a way you would never ever allow anyone to treat your wife or your daughter.
And Shapiro wasn't alone here. Liz Wheeler, Lila Rose, and others have criticized Tate's embrace by conservative influencers as well. And seemingly in response to the pushback, Benny made a couple of tweets about it and even quoted Jesus saying, "He who is without sin cast the first stone," seemingly implying that we can't judge the actions of Tate since we too are sinners. But as we'll come to see, this entirely misses the point. Other proclaimed conservative Christians like Russell Brand and Candace Owens also jumped to defend Benny and Tate. Candace even argued that conservatives who made their careers by using free speech shouldn't criticize Benny for interviewing Andrew Tate. But not everyone accepted this criticism. People like David Wood pointed out that her statement was entirely hypocritical, while several others pointed out that those defending Benny seemed to ultimately be missing the point of the criticism. One issue is that Tate is actively against conservative and Christian values, even a few days ago saying things like this.
Don't let these conservative losers tell you, get married. No. Ben Shapiro, little Jew. The reason they'll say Andrew Tate's a bad guy is really because they know I get to live free and do what I want, live with my friends, and have endless children from endless beauty queens.
And the other issue of people like Benny hosting Tate isn't the fact that they platformed him, but instead it's the apparent refusal to push him about these serious allegations and essentially doing PR for him. They always seem to claim having some degree of ignorance about his case while assuming that the charges against him have no merit.
It's a disgrace what they're doing. You know, obviously I don't know the facts of your case, but I know that it probably wouldn't be happening if you were not yourself. And that's very similar to my client.
But despite the defenses, Tate's own words tell a different story. When it comes to these indefensible clips of Tate admitting to exactly what he's being charged with, they all, as well as Tate, claim that these clips were over a decade ago.
My webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago. And that was a past life. You're talking about something that happened 10 years ago. 10 years ago. From 10 years ago. From 10 years ago. Things from 10 years ago. The idea that you did something 10 years ago.
I also take exception to, I think, digging back 10 years.
But even a quick look at the facts prove otherwise, because if that were the case, then how do you explain him saying things like this?
I also an OnlyFans business. For the last 2 to 3 years, I was making money on OnlyFans from its inception all the way up till now. Right now, during the pandemic, OnlyFans is blowing up. You want your girls to be elite, I'm gonna teach you how to do that.
Both Andrew Tate and Tristan both bragged about these things until right before they got arrested.
It's my OnlyFans management agency. If you want to see how I've done this year so far in the midst of a pandemic.
But that's on the Tates. The problem is that the same right-wing conservative influencers who consistently talk about how evil porn is decide to not only platform a man who literally made his money from porn.
I first made my millions of dollars. The first time I ever became a millionaire was with Webcam Studio.
But they could also easily find evidence that Tate is lying about his alleged charges if they wanted to, since it's been all over the internet for years now. This apparent hypocrisy is glaring, condemning porn while publicly promoting someone who made his fortune on it. And if integrity and truth are no longer a priority, then what does that say about the future of the movement? This raises the question, are these influencers united by conservative and Christian values anymore? Well, no, I don't believe they are. There seems to be a new loyalty at play here that reveals what's really driving the movement today. As far as I can tell, much of this started with how a lot of conservative Christians handled Trump's past immorality. Instead of rebuking his apparent infidelity, divorces, and controversial statements, a lot of people treated them as trivial and dismissed legitimate concerns as leftist attacks. And we saw the same thing happen when it came to people like Andrew Tate, who co-opted this same strategy under the name of a Matrix attack.
The Matrix has attacked me.
Framing all legitimate criticisms as a conspiracy. And on top of that, a lot of today's conservative influencers have lifestyles that contradict its traditional values. Dave Rubin, for example, recently had a child through surrogacy with his husband. Caitlyn Jenner and Blair White are both trans, and Trump's support for certain broad abortion exceptions has played a major role in shifting the party away from its once firm pro-life stance. Now, of course, I have nothing against these people personally. My only point is to highlight the fact that this would have been unheard of several years ago due to the conflicts with core conservative values. This shift in priorities have led conservatives to embrace figures like Tate, who's unmarried, has multiple children with different mothers, and quite literally built his fortune by exploiting women and vulnerable men through pornography. And
I became a multi-millionaire. I did this by creating a webcam studio.
Over time, countless conservatives have shifted from standing for something to simply standing against the left, even if that means embracing figures who actively undermine their same core values. And this change, this shift, it doesn't just affect political discussions, it also impacts how conservative Christians are perceived and how they influence culture. And ultimately, this compromises the Christian witness, making it harder to present a consistent and credible message to the world, and it also weakens the church's ability to disciple and lead with integrity. So this is the danger of allowing ourselves to be more united to a political party than the principles of Christ. Without us even realizing that is happening, we're quickly going from holding to classical Christian ethics like being anti-abortion to actively embracing it due to a shift in the political thinking of our party. And as these man-made and worldly systems continue to change, our loyalty to Christ above these changes shouldn't. We should follow Christ first, even when it's difficult, and not only when it's convenient. So to say that this is the end of the conservative Christian movement might be hyperbolic, but the point still remains. Christian conservatives who are firmly rooted in biblical values are becoming increasingly rare, and their influence likely won't survive much longer if we don't fix the problem. And the solution isn't abandoning politics, but instead ensuring that our deepest convictions are shaped by God's word rather than political lines. Because, as Paul says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I believe that if we're intentional about this, then we can break this trend. And it starts with each one of us taking an honest step back and asking ourselves, are we truly following Christ first, or are we just following the crowd?
I love that. That was so good. And I feel like that one was easier to stomach than some of our videos.
No, 100%. You should get him on our show.
Oh, that would be great. No, that would be fantastic. I actually want to kind of show to you how we ended up though as the church that is impotent. So we're going to go to Daystar for a second, and this is another clip. Now, this is a clip of, I believe, Joni Lamb's attorney. So I know this is a super long thread. I don't know if we can just, oh my gosh.
Why don't you find it while we play it, and then we can confirm.
So this clip, no, I'm not. I'm going to scroll down. I'm just going to play this clip because I think somebody might have just placed it here on the thread somehow. God is still reaching the church. Listen to
says attorney John Lynch.
Yeah.
I represented a guy that
that was a pastor of a church that he started from scratch and built it up to where they had 3,000 people attending. And it turned out that he had had affairs with somewhere around 12 or 15 people. He would sit up there in the pulpit and try to figure out who his next target was going to be. And nobody knew about it. He had this secret life where he had private phone boxes and all this kind of stuff going on where he was communicating. One of them was his, he played golf with this guy every day, and he was having an ongoing affair with that deacon's wife, okay? God was still reaching people in that church from his preaching. I represented
And
the guy.
that's the clip.
Yeah, so I believe that that's why the church is impotent.
Mm-hmm.
Because every single church at every single level almost has this high level of sin. Did you hear how he described? He was out with his, so-and-so's wife, and they were golfing, and he had 12 or 13 girlfriends or something like that.
Figuring out who is next.
And they had a member of 3,000 member churches, a large church, but God was still using it.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are not little sins by little people.
Mm-hmm.
These are big, like 12 or 13, like the level of hypocrisy is so off the charts. We were dealing with. I was scrolling through my feed. There's so many in Dallas that have fallen. We're still dealing with Daystar and Joni and them, and they did some sort of bizarre shooting thing, saying that they were taking aim at wokeness, cancel culture, and censorship, and so they went to a shooting range.
Oh dear!
I'm going to shoot at it. A video came out with Rebecca telling her mom. Now, Rebecca's back in with her mom. She never left.
Wow.
She never left. But audio of her telling her mom that she's full of demons.
Wow.
Yeah.
For those of you struggling with the saga, Rebecca is Joni's other daughter. The one that who she and her husband say that their kids are not allowed around Pete.
Mm-hmm. And then Julie Roy's interviews, and I'll play this last clip. You can play this. This is a former executive assistant, Lisa Anderson, gives some really shocking details on just like the personality that you can just see. You can peg Joni.
You basically were on call 24/7?
Yes, ma'am. I had a BlackBerry back when BlackBerries were around.
And she could call you at any point and you'd have to come.
Mm-hmm. There was one example, I'll never forget it. It was a Thanksgiving Day.
Oh my.
No joke. Thanksgiving Day. And I had Thanksgiving at my parents' house, which they only lived around the corner from me. We were having Thanksgiving dinner, and it was her calling me on the phone on my BlackBerry. Lisa Lou, would you go over to Madeline's, which was over there in Arlington, pick up a coconut cake and bring it to the house and leave it on the counter? Sure enough, I did. Sure enough, I put it on the.
You left your family on Thanksgiving Day.
I certainly did. I says, I have to make a run. I will be back. Continue on. And I left the house, got in my car, went to La Madeline, picked it up, took it to her house, left it on the counter. They were in the other room having their dinner. Cake was on the counter, left the place, closed the door, and went right back to my family.
And the other thing is, this is not official Daystar business. This is a completely personal matter. You are a Daystar employee, and this has nothing to do with Daystar.
Something switched, and it was a really interesting interview that I was just, it feels gossipy, and will just let you know. But this woman worked for Joni, and she described how they started out as kind of a small, intimate. It wasn't before Daystar was big. Everybody was just kind of friends, and then something flipped, and they started to get a lot of money. And then the cars started to change from Toyota to Porsches, and then they started to get these big houses. And then Joni, started to do the demands that you do. Whereas she had a certain thing for breakfast, and then lunch was served at Daystar with linen, with linen napkins, and everything had to be perfect. Gosh. And salmon, and everything was just on the up and up. And then she never put gas in her own car, that her security detail washed and waxed and cleaned it out once a week. And, this is a lot of the stuff that you see in these big ministries. And then it's like something, once you make that shift into everybody is my servant, right? And now they're just blessing the Lord. They're just living to bless the Lord, and they're blessing by being your slave. They're blessing the Lord by giving you the best of the best. That's like they're doing it for Jesus. But that's the irreverse of the scripture. The Bible says, whatever you've done unto the least of these, you've done unto me.
Right.
Jesus didn't go to like the Richie Rich and be like, hey, can I wash your car?
Yeah, where's Joni going to that Lay Madeline and picking up a coconut pie and dropping it off at like some poor
That's
single
what a
mom's
minister
house.
would do. But a con artist calls your slave up on Thanksgiving and says, hey, can you go get my coconut cake? So that is just a little bit more of the Daystar drama dropping there. And that's the show, man.
That's the show. Trump's historic first week. So much, I am, I'm not even sure what the word is. I'm bracing myself, I guess is the proper word.
Okay.
Moving forward for the next 4 years. Because
Whiplash?
No, not so much that. I guess like Trump is going to be doing a lot of things.
He's going to be Trumpy.
Trump is going to be doing a lot of things. And the last 4 years have not been very Trumpy resistance chicks. Like not the last 4 years. That's not exactly true. But like we haven't been, our show hasn't been mostly Trump.
Oh gosh, yeah, it really hasn't.
And so I'm looking forward with some sort of, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I want to figure out a way to talk about these things without every title of every show containing the word Trump.
Pete Hegseth was confirmed with J.D. Vance casting the tie vote. McConnell, Murkowski, and Collins voting no. I can't see how Tulsi gets confirmed.
You don't think so?
The Democrats don't like her, and if you can get some Democrats to vote for her,
I think there will be some Democrats that do vote for Tulsi. It'll be interesting to see.
When in all of history has a Republican Senate not confirmed a Republican president's cabinet?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think that's ever been a thing.
No, I don't think so either. I'm not surprised about the Pete Hegseth result, but it was close. Like it was really, really close because there's a lot going against Pete. So I don't even know how you guys feel about Pete, but yeah. All right, so since that is the show,
yeah,
I will say this. As far as, kind of promos or ads or anything that we usually do at the end of the show, the most important one for me is the Dan Patch Revival. Coming up this February 8th. It's in Oxford, Indiana. If you guys want more information about that, you can go to resistancechicks.com and click on the show and event calendar. I think I have a new updated flyer to post there. But we did the Dan Patch Revival with Tag and Becky Morris last year, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. And just hearing from them what they've been doing to prepare, and they've been getting in the spirit. They have been praying in the spirit. If you need a touch or a move from God and you can drive to Oxford, Indiana on February 8th, I want to highly, highly encourage that you do so. They're going to have fellowship, food, worship, prayer, intercession. If you need deliverance, if you need to get filled with the Holy Ghost, if you just want to be uplifted and surrounded by the Resistance Chicks family and, extended family, please, please, please go to the resistancechicks.com and click on the show and event calendar. That's February 8th. Also, happening now is a revival at Harvest Revival Center with Pastor Neil Peterson. So tomorrow we won't be able to go. We're actually going to go do something really fun with some friends, and you guys will hear about that. Actually, we're going to go visit the escape room again that we did last 2 years ago with Jeff Winch. He's got a new room, and so we're going to go and we'll do an interview with him and show you guys. It's really fun. So we're going to go with some friends and do that. But before I leave, I'm going to get everything set up so that tomorrow night, Patriot Gallery will be able to restream on our three platforms, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Maybe not YouTube because they'll be singing songs that may be copyrighted and YouTube's weird about that. So on Rumble and Facebook, I'll set it up so that Patriot Gallery can restream the Harvest Revival Center revival tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't have anything to do tomorrow night and you can't make it up there to Dayton, then I would highly encourage you add that, tomorrow night for worship.
I really think that if you're in Florida right now, if you're in the South and you have not gotten yourself a My Pillow slipper.
Let's see what they have going on
You
over
can
here
walk
at
through
mypillow.com.
the cold.
mypillow.com.
I love them so much.
Oh, wait. Oh, now is the time y'all gonna go get the flannel sheets. They put them on sale. The flannel sheets just went $10 off of what their regular normal sale price is. So I want to encourage you guys. Wait, where are you flannel sheets? Hang on.
Right there.
Are they right here?
Yeah.
Limited time offer. These flannel sheets are
they're pretty
amazing, and they got new.
Look at
they got new ones.
Stripe. What do you call the plaid one?
I love those plaid
is
ones.
Just
so
beautiful.
right now,
I like the coral there.
Go to
and the
mypillow.com.
Christmassy ones.
Well, they've got Christmas, but they've got like I think
snowflakes.
No, it's not snowflakes. It's like a kind of like a leafy berry type thing.
I'm going for the plaid.
So I love my pillow flannel sheets. They are so warm. You get in and they're like butter. It's like butter. So I love the My Pillow flannel sheets. You can tell I was a little bit excited about that. I've been waiting for them to go on sale for you guys because I think they've been like $60. And now they're on sale for $44.98, which is awesome. You can use promo code RC at the checkout.
I use the dish towels every day.
Every single day.
Multiple times a day.
We're using the dish towels.
You.
Love them. You know what we don't emphasize enough because we're not coffee drinkers. If I was a coffee drinker, I would emphasize this because when we were at the Moment of Truth Summit and he had just debuted the coffee, everybody was like, oh my gosh, like this is as good as, a lot of people love McDonald's, they love Dunkin', they love Starbucks, and everybody's like, wow, this is such great coffee. Like I'm going to switch to this coffee.
I actually
Our neighbors get the subscription.
I had a conversation with my hygienist.
Yeah.
Because she was like, when she takes a trip, she goes and drinks the same this kind of coffee. I'm just like, listen, explain to me
the difference, good coffee,
goes,
bad coffee?
Yeah, she's like, it's the bitterness and the freshness.
So, but the My Coffee subscription, you can get it for $12.49, I think as low as that, like whatever, per month. And the people that I have heard from love the My Coffee subscription. Like I don't drink coffee. If I drank coffee, I would get My Pillow coffee because everyone says that it's absolutely amazing. So I don't want to throw coffee drinkers under the bus and not advertise for that just because I'm not a coffee person. But so I'm super excited about this. Now, I was on a private call with Mike Lindell and a couple of other podcasters this past summer. And Mike was really excited to announce that this is the cross that Mike wears every single day. And for years, people have been asking him to make that cross available so that they could purchase it. And he told us, he announced it to us live on air, or not on air, but live in this call, this personal call that we were on, this Zoom call. And he said, I'm really excited to announce that coming out is I'm going to be able to offer this cross. It's sterling silver, anti-tarnish. It says the interior coloring is
pearl style translucent white enamel.
Onyx styled black enamel with a protective clear coating, and it has mother of pearl. So this is Mike's cross that he wears all the time. And I just think it's really cool because it's hard for guys to find a good cross necklace.
Yeah, it's definitely a dude's necklace.
Well, no, they have a men's and a women's version.
Oh, they do.
So the women's version is, I think, this this really pretty.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, it's smaller chain.
What is the word that I like? Stainless steel kind of color. Maybe it's silver or whatever. It's sterling silver. I'm sure it's not stainless steel. Forgive me for saying that. But I love that they have a men's and a women's version, which I just think is really, really cool. So just the fact that I got to be on that call personally with Mike and to hear how excited that he was to tell the story.
Can we just be honest? They were so excited. They couldn't wait to drop the new product. And they're like, at the cross necklace. And I was like, okay.
No, but I think it's great because it has a little bit of a story to it.
I think it
does. And imagine the witnessing tool that you could give to a former addict who had just gotten saved. You could give him Mike's book and you could give him the cross. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So I love that that's now there and it's 20% off on the My Pillow store. So mypillow.com and use promo code RC at the checkout.
If you get one, take a picture. I want to see it on somebody.
So Leah, I'm the worst.
Don't. You're the
best.
best.
No, I really am. I'm really terrible. So I had told you guys when we launched our store that we weren't going to do sales. And because I feel like sales are manipulative.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I love My Pillow, but their sales that they do, it just kind of feels like you know what the real value is. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want you guys to ever feel that way, right? If we do a sale. And so I didn't want you to think like we're just like manipulating you.
So we priced them the price.
And so when it goes on sale, like it's legit like sale. Does that make sense? Like I'm telling you, this is a big deal for me to put this thing on sale. So I made an executive decision to Leah, and I said the other day, I said, I think I really want to do a Valentine's sale, not because we believe in the corporatism of the holiday, but because there's a lot of you, I'm just going to be straight up honest. Husbands, I don't want to speak for your wives, but I will speak for myself in that mindset. Like, I don't care if they say don't celebrate Valentine's Day, just do it. Like, I don't feel like you can go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But even the women that say like, no, I don't need anything. We don't celebrate the holiday. Like I've talked to my girlfriends that are married that take that stance, and yet they still are a little bit hurt if their husbands take them at their word. So I'm just saying. So I wanted to make it available to those husbands out there that are like, I would like to celebrate my wife for Valentine's Day, but I don't want to celebrate like the corporate, you know, whatever holiday. And I wanted to be able to offer a sale for you guys. And so what I'm going to do, what's today?
The 24th.
The 24th. I want to make sure that we can get everything to you. I am going to launch the Valentine's sale probably in a couple of days. I will make that announcement. I'll put it out there. I want to be able to make my aromatherapy eye pillows available to you guys when that sale launches. I'm waiting on the actual labels for the new tooth powders that Leah has. But I also want to make those available. So probably in the next 3 or 4 days, we will put those products on the website and we will launch a Valentine's Day sale. Yes, I know, but I just really wanted to make it available for you guys. It'll probably be a 10% sale.
Are we going to have one in March for the Luck of the Irish?
No, we're not going to do sales for every little thing. Okay. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that thing. So you can look forward if you've been wanting
Irish sale.
If you've been wanting to get some stuff, I'm going to tell you something that no one is ever going to tell you on their show. Just wait.
Yeah.
If there's something that you've been wanting to buy, don't go to the shop.resistancechicks.com after the show. Wait a few days until the sale launches. They'll give you a 10% promo code, and then they'll have new products and everything like that. So that is how real we are on Resistance Chicks for me to tell you, don't go to my store and buy my stuff yet. Wait for the sale. Okay? No one else does that on planet Earth. So we're going to sign off. Sherry says, I love the eye pillow. So soothing. Now, Sherry, I was told and instructed that she had to leave a positive. I said, I'm giving this eye pillow to you. I just gave it to her this week. And I said, so that you can tell people how great it is. So you can't believe a word she's saying because I told her she had to say something nice about it. I'm just joking.
So she sent me a documentary.
Oh, yeah.
On Springfield.
Yeah.
Do
you want me to put it on the website?
No.
Okay.
I maybe pieces. I may break it up. I'm like, because this is the problem with
it. Feels racist.
It does.
I listened to it today too.
It does. It feels. Really,
but it's great.
But it's really
it's so
good.
Great and informative.
It's got a lot of great pieces in it.
Yeah.
Right. But then the guy takes it and interjects his own thoughts, which it's so.
So you say Springfield in case people don't know what you're talking about.
So basically,
the Haitians.
So basically, it starts with in the beginning of the Haitians in Springfield. How did they get there?
Sherry says, I really do like it with the laughing emoji.
That's funny. How did the Haitians get there? Well, they go back to why is Europe flooded with all kinds of migrants? Okay, and then it makes all these little dots that tie together all the way up to Mike DeWine, who had a bunch of orphanages and things in Haiti. And then his first year in office, he brings, all these Haitians to Ohio. And then we're having issues. And I'm waiting for part 2 to come out now.
Oh, yeah. Is there going to be a part 2? Did it say that?
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. Okay. Well, that's the show. So we'll be back here on Sunday for our World News program. But like I said, tomorrow night, if you want something to do and you do want something to do.
People should watch it. You know where I'll probably share it? Gab.
Okay. Gab. Okay. If you want something to watch.
Resistance Chicks on Gab.
And you do want something to watch on Saturday. I don't know how you guys pay attention to Leah and I going back and forth with 2 different sentences at the same time. If you do, kudos to you. You have an incredible brain. I am going to get this thought out. If you want something to watch and you do want something to watch, tomorrow night, you will be tuning in to Harvest Revival Center's Revival. Very excited. Neil Peterson's coming off of a 21-day fast. I'm very, very, very proud of him.
Brave the Dark.
Oh, yeah. So today is the premiere of Brave the Dark. And we did an interview this week on Monday. So I would highly encourage you guys to go and watch that with Nate Dean and Derek Diener. Mom, you can put the link in the chat if you want to the documentary. Nate Dean is the subject of the film Brave the Dark, Angel Studios' latest production. It's just so moving. So if you have not gotten your tickets yet, please go to angel.com and get your tickets. You will not be sorry. Take people who have had, I think, a traumatic past, or people that know people. I think that it is really going to encourage you that there is life after the darkness. And so I'm just so proud of everybody over there at Angel Studios. I'm proud of Derek Diener and the production crew over there. It's so phenomenal. You do not want to miss this interview. You get some behind the scenes little tidbits of stuff. So resistancechicks.com will
for it. So I can, I want to put this
right
in
there.
the chat.
You just click on it.
So here's this, you guys. This is really fun. If you want,
It's a super fun interview.
Yeah.
Super fun. Sherry says, let's see.
Watch this, guys. You're gonna like.
They connect the dots. This is in the documentary, but act like only white people were targeted with the opioids. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's well said. So we did that this past week, and then also we've been telling you guys to pray for us going into the shows that we were going to do this week, including our Healing for the Fractured Soul and Revelation Red Pill this past Wednesday.
Watch them.
So go and watch them, because now that we've done them, they're out there. I think that you will be highly I think encouraged, and your eyes will be opened.
Wednesday's show on deliverance, and tying it together with Revelation and Joshua. Here's the thing. What I think that churches just utterly miss is, what is deliverance?
Yeah.
What are you being delivered from? What are your biblical grounds for kicking the devil out? What is sin? What is sin? What does it look like in the third heaven? You can't do deliverance until you understand the third heaven, until you understand the spirit realm, until you understand that what does it mean? And I'm going to tell you guys something. I've been studying. And then when we did the show on Wednesday, it was just so much revelation, so much spoken out. I'm just going to, Wednesday's show, I literally was like, please, Jesus, let them get it. Please. I was like, God, please let them get it. Please let them get it. Because when you get it, you'll be able to take authority at a different level when you understand it. So we'll be back again. Hammering again. Part 2 on Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe.
Okay. We're gonna get it.
Twos.
All right, thank you to everybody that supports us. If you want to support us, you can give. I finally made that available. You can go to resistancechicks.com and click on the support button, or you can go to shop.resistancechicks.com and click on the donate button.
Did you break down?
I think I can find it. And
if you want to send your letters,
yes.
Jim's yours was kind of long, and we got it after Trump was inaugurated, so I know a lot of it doesn't really apply right now. But if you would like us to read your letters on air, or you want to just kind of let us know what's going on in your life, please send it to us. P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio, 45150. And I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'm writing to you from a comfortable chair in my waiting room as the car doctors take care of my car. So if my handwriting is a little sloppy. And he says, I'm going to keep praying for Southern California. I'm listening to a Boston radio station talking about James Woods, the actor in the Palisades of Hollywood. Where I am, a gentle light snow is coming down right now. I can't imagine the outside of this car dealership, all windows all around me. I can't imagine it all up engulfed in flames. Thank you for praying. And he had his ankle and knee during, I'm guessing, the revivalist show. My right knee has been hurting badly at times, and I have been told by an orthopedic doctor that I will need a knee replacement. Oh, well, Father God, I just lift up Jim's knee, and if he is going to get a knee replacement, may it be quick and may it be easy, and may he come back better than ever.
Amen.
In Jesus' name. So, Jim, I think you're healthy enough to do it, and I would encourage you, not to be scared, and we'll just keep praying over that. I'd rather have God heal me. I'm taking turmeric to help it, and my left ankle has been feeling jammed up for a week. So I'm a mess to walk around. So we just speak to that. And then he's praying from a major snow this winter. Specifically, he's praying for a major snow this winter. Oh, you did it. You did it. Specifically for January 20th in the Virginia, D.C. area. Why did you do that? This was written January 9th.
Read it, and I'll tell you.
Why'd you do it? I'm just kidding. I told you about my Christmas prayer for the snow when a 2-foot blizzard hit Stamford, Connecticut. I was in snow heaven as a kid. My neighbor, Mrs. Durham, was stuck in an elevator because of the storm, but not for long. Anyhow, I have a history of praying for snow. Now, why do I want there to be snow on January 20th around DC? There are a multitude of reasons, and I do mean a massive city closing blizzard, 2, 3, 4 feet over a series of days. My reasons: the New Year's Tesla bombing and the attack in the New Orleans by an Islamic terrorist were deep state warnings to Trump and Musk. So I guess you wanted to keep any shooters at bay. Trump is planning a rally in a sports arena around the 19th, and I was at all of 3 of the Stop the Steal rallies in D.C. after the 2020 election.
That's awesome.
January 6th was the 3rd of the 3 massive rallies in D.C. We had been bullied into complacency, thinking that we, Trump voters, had a right to peacefully protest. I believe J6 was a setup and a Fed insurrection. I do not believe the feds will allow Trumpers to gather peacefully, unmolested on January 19th. It screams set up for an attack. Can you say, all these attackers? So the inauguration, this will be the major target for major targets. So for Mr. Trump, so you wanted him inside, and he went inside.
Good job, Jim.
So I can't. So yeah,
you can keep reading.
Well, Trump should declare that he is doing things differently this year. The inauguration will be small, inside, just Justice Roberts, some witnesses, some senators and representatives, and broadcast into all the channels. Lyndon
very
Johnson
close
took
to what
oath
happened.
office in Air Force One with a handful of witnesses, including photographers. George Washington took the oath of office in New York City. Trump can be different in order to protect himself. So I'm going to pull rank on the president. I'm going
good.
over his head.
That's awesome.
So I think your prayer. So
Let's
I'm praying
finish it.
for. I am praying for a major blizzard of the century to hit the Washington, D.C. area from the 18th to the 21st.
Good job,
I think
Jim.
it's very interesting that you prayed that, and then your prayer hit everywhere. And did you know it was? Here's the problem, Jim, with weather modification. Even with prayers, you can't control it. And now the South got hit. It was hilarious. All right, so what do we have here?
So I don't really know. Scott Kesterson sent Lee and I a message saying this is your Christmas present. This is the Forgotten George Washington Bible. I've not really heard about it. So we're going to open it up.
Is it literally called the Forgotten? No.
It literally says Brown's Self-Interpreting Family Bible of 1792. Historic research by Dale Mason. It says, the Bible you're holding in your hands is a beautiful reproduction of the very edition sponsored and owned by our first president, George Washington. The original printing took place in the tenuous days following America's Revolutionary War and required 2 years to create 1,567 copies on Gutenberg-like wooden presses. It was a massive effort that received high approval from both branches of the legislature of New York. A bold 2-page advertisement even appeared in an official printing of America's first ever congressional record. Its inclusion there with the Constitution and Bill of Rights stands as a compelling evidence of our founders' commitment to protect the free exercise of religious expression.
It took nearly 2 years for this massive book to be typeset and print in 40 parts on the Gutenberg-like wooden presses of that day. And though many VIPs of America's founding era are listed together with Washington, Hamilton, Burr, John Jay, Henry Knox, over time it was essentially lost to Americans' history of key antiquities.
So it's like literally a reprinting because this is very...
It's a facsimile.
Facsimile?
Yeah.
That's what you meant to say.
So
it's very, very small,
It's got some insightful mini biographies of both Washington and Brown.
There's a lot of, it's interesting because there's a lot of study notes
handwritten 168 words against slavery is in there. Washington's secret and near fatal illness only weeks after his inauguration. How a call to fasting and prayer by Washington led to America's first national Thanksgiving. A 2-page ad for the self-interpreting Bible that appeared along with the first public printing of the U.S. Constitution in the 1789 Acts of Congress. The story behind England's use of the American colonies to offload and enslave over 50,000 British prisoners. Why Washington had to take out a loan to travel to his own inauguration. The doctrine behind the notes of Brown's self-interpreting Bible, silently endorsed by Washington's prominent subscription. The amazing true story of Jacob Brush, the soldier and horse preacher evangelist who was the original owner of the facsimile copy digitized for this work, the evolution espousing reference Bible that eventually replaced the Brown's self-interpreting Bible, the extremely intriguing true story behind Washington's teeth, proof that Washington was not a deist, but rather a self-described Christian, Washington's firm belief in God the Creator, his creation, and the reality of both Ark and Noah, the account of God's miraculous preservation of young Washington in the Battle of Monongahela. How do you say that? Oh, forgot it. I can't say it. The story behind the supposed Sally Fairfax affair controversy, the self-interpreting Bible's tremendous popularity, the origin of Sunday-only schools, interesting, detailed explanation of the symbolism in the patriotic frontispiece. So, yeah. There you go.
So it says it's translated from original tongues and with the former translations diligently compared and revived. This is actually what it said on the, like literally when you opened it up originally, this is what it would have said. I'm not reading it as this is a modern thing. Marginal references and illustrations, an exact summary of the several books, a paraphrase of the most obscure or important parts, an analysis of the contents of each chapter, explanatory notes and evangelical reflections by the late Reverend John Brown, minister of the gospel at Haddington. And so that was kind of like the introduction to it. That's what it would have said. But I like on the back here, it says, discover strong evidence that General George Washington was a Christian, not a deist.
We just read that.
Oh, you read all that? Okay.
We read
and
it
the
all.
beginning of this, it's kind of like a really cool, the first like, I don't know. Chunk.
Why is it so tiny?
Well, the first chunk of it, like this much, is like a history, I think. And then the rest is the facsimile of the actual thing. The problem is it's because it's a facsimile, this is Old English. And so the shout is with an F.
Tiny.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? It shall burn incense for incense.
Yeah.
So, but I like this. It says, reflections upon this chapter. Through these dark shadows of good things to come, these warnings, arrayings, oblations, and unctions, they look to Jesus and his reformed offspring. I see his solemn call to his work and theirs to their station, the infinite purity of his Godhead and the perfect holiness of his manhood, the complete humanity which he assumed, the attentive office which he undertook, the humble obedience which he fulfilled, the unbounded influences of Holy Ghost which he received. And so
that's
that's from the Reverend.
From Exodus 29, and it's talking about the sacrificial lamb.
And there's a lot of cross references in here. And so I like that it says it's the self-explanatory, which was really cool.
Michelle and Leah, where can I find this Bible? I got it right here.
So very cool. Thank you, Scott Kesterson, for sending that. It is a really cool thing to have.
Boom.
In history. And for anybody that says that our founding fathers weren't Christian, then why did George Washington promote this Bible and have it done? Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So super cool. That's awesome. Super fun.
It's called The Haitian Invasion of Springfield, Ohio. It's called The Replacement of America, Part 1 and 2. In the fall of 2024, Springfield, Ohio entered the national spotlight.
What's the website for the Bible?
I put it in the
but is it something that we can just say out loud?
Yeah,
GeorgeWashingtonBible.com. GeorgeWashingtonBible.com. That's very, very simple. GeorgeWashingtonBible.com. Super awesome. Okay, so we'll see you guys tomorrow night for worship and revival with Harvest Revival Center. I will be live streaming that from our Facebook and Rumble, and then we'll see you on Sunday for World News. Thank you for an amazing show. It's been if this has been the first week of Trump, I need to.
I don't even know.
I need to start working out to get ready for the rest of them. All right, remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. We'll see you next time right here from resistancechicks.com. We love you. God loves you. God bless.